Hold on a second. So...
Press start.
What do you want to say?
No, it's cool.
Huh? You want to say something?
Oh, no. Raj's like, it's a cool...
Yeah, cool, man. Yeah, come here, G. We got the brother here, look.
Oh, I don't like this guy, man.
Content over everything! Why not?
But I'm going to be civil, though, so what can I say?
Just don't make false claims against me, that's it.
I'm not false claims. Today we're not talking about stuff like that.
Are we talking about Alexander the Great, yeah?
In
Jalen River, right?
Yeah, Jalen River, that's the one.
That's where
Big up Academic Screeching. He's one of my generals. No doubt. Academic Screeching gives me enough info. Can I just say something today, yeah?
Sorry?
I just want to clarify. Hold on. I met PC Barnes today, yeah, at 1:30. We had an hour meeting. Let me just say something. If I'm going to bring support down because people start behaving like savages, I will. Yeah, and I'm not going to be banned either. So all these rumours that I'm going to get banned, that's bullshit. So, all right, so... Yeah, come on, let's go. You're not going to smoke, are you?
Yeah, go on, carry on.
Mad, I can't stand next to you when you're smoking. Take it off, man. Do. It's going to look bad, man.
Huh?
Come on, man.
Come on, we're recording, we're live.
No, you got a cigarette in your hand.
Don't worry, man. No one's seeing shit, man. Come.
All right, so what we're doing from now on is that we're going to have a constructive conversation.
Yeah.
Where both of me and Big Ards, we're from the Punjab in North India. Yeah. Yeah, so we're from the Punjab in North India, and India is now split between Pakistan and India. But before 1947 and Bangladesh, the Punjab was one. Yeah, and so the history of the Punjab is very, very long, and North India and India in general is like 8,000 years old. It's a long history. Now, one of the problems is this, that we've agreed to talk about the Punjab because we're both proud Punjabis, but the one thing is we're not going to talk about it, so don't start asking. We're not going to talk about the Islamic conquest from the 10th century or Sikh history.
Yeah, we're not basically talking about religious.
So anything pre-10th century, now the reason being, when I hear about the Mughal Empire, I start frothing at the mouth and cursing, yeah? So I have a lot of cursing when I hear about the Mughal Empire and start going mad. So we can't talk about it. So anybody want to talk about it. So what we're going to do is, like me and Migard, we're going to have it as a series, a long-term series, and anyone who wants to join in, they can join in and kind of, we're not historians.
Yeah, we're not historians.
Yeah. Huh?
Or the little mini-series. I don't know, man. What do you want to call it?
We could say something like the in North Indian... No, you're mad, Adnan Rashid.
Big up.
Adnan Rashid, yeah. Adnan Rashid, yeah.
Put some respect on his
name. No, I'm not putting no respect on that man's name. He said there wasn't even 1 million killed over 800 years in India.
Look, you're doing it already.
I don't know, so don't talk about Adnan Rashid because he lies all the time. I'm mad. So this is what I'm saying, don't mention people like that. So what we're going to do, yeah, first thing we're going to talk about is that obviously North Indian history is very varied. And so we're going to touch upon it week by week and we'll learn at the same time. Both of us, I want to learn as well. So
we'll learn along the way.
Yeah, so we'll learn along the way. We'll choose a topic and then next week we'll come back and we'll give our opinion. We may be wrong, so stop bitching and whining in the comments and criticising us. And give us some critique, but give us the right way. So what we're going to talk about today, because we touched upon it last week, was King Porus. And King Porus was a king in the Punjab, which is now West Punjab, which is now in Pakistan, because Punjab was cut in half. Half is in Pakistan and half is in India. And we're from the Indian side, he's from the Pakistan side. So you got that one, you got the King Porus on that side, yeah? And so what's happening is that we're going to talk about King Porus and the kind of history, yeah? And King Porus was somebody that pushed back Alexander the Great in 326, isn't it?
Yeah,
BC.
326 BC.
So I'll let Big Art kind of carry on, then we'll have a bit of a discussion about
basically, he didn't like physically push him back, because obviously the initial outcome of that battle was that he lost. He had to basically surrender. So like we could talk about where it was. It's actually called the Battle of Hydaspes.
Oh, Hydaspes.
Yeah, so the Battle of Hydaspes, and it's fought in 326 BC. So that's when Alexander, I don't know if you don't want to call him that, I'm going to call it Alexander the Gay, yeah?
Oh, no, come on.
He come over,
put some respect on his name.
He come over, and obviously that was when he was doing his conquering of towards the Indian subcontinent. He was based in Jhelum at the time, and he was on one side of the Jhelum River, and then on the other side of the Jhelum River there was a great Indian army that was amassed under the command of King Porus.
Big up Punjabi brother, man.
Yeah, I think there was about 50 to 60,000 people in this army. If you count all the archers and the infantry and the chariots and the war elephants and all that kind of stuff. So going on in the beginning of the battle, Alexander knew that it's going to be very hard for him to kind of get the upper hand if he didn't cross the Jhelum River. And it was hard for him to cross the river because as he was trying to cross the river, every time King Porus would shadow his movements. Alexander was doing this in the night under cover of darkness, and then whenever he would move, Porus would mirror the movements, and then in the morning, like, the armies are still aligned. So then Alexander decided to do a sneakier move, whereas he left the majority of his contingent in one place, and he
over the river.
No, yeah. So they're still in the same place, opposite each other on the other banks of the river, and he's left his contingent there to make Porus think they're not moving. But there was a smaller contingent, you could say to about 10,000 soldiers, including him, and some people on horseback as well. And they crossed the river on a part where on the Jhelum River there's a little island that kind of connects the two banks, right? So as they was getting across there, his whole MO for doing this was to cause a pincer movement, a classic pincer movement.
Go from the back.
So he was going to hit from the right flank and then go from the back and surprise him like that. And I'll have to say, King Porus, his men, were not very well armoured enough. So their armour wasn't good from the torso and all that kind of stuff.
And they weren't war ready.
Yeah, they weren't war ready.
Just to put into context, Alexander the Great had been battling for 5 years straight around the whole of the Arab Peninsula, all the way up to Afghanistan. So their troops are battle-hardened troops. And the troops in India, in the Punjab, obviously were not as battle-hardened. So they weren't as experienced as those guys.
Yeah, so that crossing that he used, it was about 27 kilometers upstream of his camp. So that's where he done that. It was an uninhabited woodland. Yeah, so that was a small little island there. So when he went there, King Porus, let me just get this. Sorry, man.
While you do that, let me just quickly show you just a map of India and the Punjab, how it's kind of been split. So this is North India. I don't know if you can get onto the screen. Can you get it? I don't know if you can. So you can see here, this is the side where the line is Punjab, and half Punjab is in Pakistan, the larger area.
You want to read some of this up?
India is, where I'm from, is here. And
I haven't really researched it, just to talk about it.
I'm just reading it.
We're genetically pretty much the same kind of people, but we're just split by a border now.
Should I research it before?
So I just showed this.
So much information to remember, bro. Yeah.
Just show the fact that you're not Punjab is like, oh, that's a disaster that how small it is there. They cut it up. We need to get it back.
He saw me look at that straight away and he knew
cover. Man, if you guys were one country before, man.
What's that? It was never one country.
It was never one country. There was
no, stop having that myth, man.
Let me just say, let me just explain something. You know India. Let me just say something about India. There's this myth that India was one big country. It was hundreds of little kingdoms,
princely states,
states, and so there was no unified India as you know it. The India as a concept was done by the British
in the Commonwealth. So British India is the only kind we know of India being totally united. Before that, there was no like, oh, it's one country.
I mean, if you look at the land
that's why they claim that a lot of Indians claim that Pakistan is ours and that's
Indian
ours.
origin.
It's not really yours because it's ours too, isn't it? But we don't want to be under your banner, innit? We want to have our own country.
Our own history.
Yeah, so let's get back to the thing,
you imagine Africa, and you're saying Africa is just one country.
No, it's ridiculous.
It's just as silly as saying that India was one country. That's why even in India, there's such a disparate amount of people that conflict with each other. A lot of states want to have their independence, like the Punjab, the Kashmiris, the Dravidians, and they all want to separate into a different country. So India's got one of the most diverse populations in the world.
Okay.
Even languages.
The way I've always known it was, Pakistan and India, were related.
You know, like sometimes when people say, oh, Africa, and you're like, oh, Africa, when someone says, oh,
you say Pakistan and India are the same people, remember?
Yeah, so, sometimes people say, oh, yeah, you're from Africa, but you know Africa's got like 50 countries.
They're not.
And it's similar to India, like people don't realise how diverse. And someone from from the bottom, so the east of Africa is very different from someone from the west. And the same with India.
Because I know that Africa is a lot of kingdoms.
Yeah, you know that. But if you talk to somebody that's quite ignorant, they may not know that. And it's the same with India. Like where we're from,
the outside.
so just to explain you that where both me and Big Ards are from, no offence to the rest of the Indians, the place that we're from is a place that has been invaded so many times that the North Indians tend to be much more militaristic.
You know, while I was doing this research, I think I stumbled upon something. You might be pissed off about it.
Oh, don't tell me now, man. I've had a good day.
But listen, you know us lot, I think we weren't from there because, you know...
good day.
You know Scythians, yeah?
Yeah, we need to talk about that.
We're Scythians, right, really, Juts, yeah? So in this year, while I was researching this battle, turns out that there were Scythians in
Alexander the Great's army. Yeah.
So I was like, wow, we was there.
Traitors, man, traitors.
Can I just say something? You know Alexander the Great, his descendants still exist in North Pakistan. In the Gilgit area, they're called Hazaras.
Yeah, some of them look like Greeks.
Yeah, they have green eyes, blue eyes, and they look exactly like Alexander the Great. And there was like a genetic study as well, where they assessed the haplogroups of those people in the north, and it was concluded that they are related to Alexander the Great. So it shows that the Alexander the Great's descendants still exist, even though it's been 3,000 years.
A lot of them settled there as well. When they came in, they settled there.
Yeah, they're called Hazaras, by the way.
Let's get back to the battle team.
So
they crossed the thing with a small contingent, and the King Porus must have thought that, yeah, I'm outnumbering his troops, obviously, so he's decided to attack on that. So then Alexander is commenced the battle by sending the Scythian horse archers.
The Bengalis want to come in as well?
So that's the brothers like us.
The Bengalis want to join? It's an Indian history, pre-Islam.
Yeah, so like he tried to send the Scythian horse archers in. Alexander sent them in to shower the Indian right cavalry wing. Yeah. So like obviously his armored companion cavalry was sent on the other side of the Indian left, with Alexander leading the charge himself personally. So like the rest of the Indian cavalry...
Oh, can I just say that his son, originally King Porus' son,
He lost 2 sons in this battle.
Yeah, the first time when they they come over the river, he went to attack, he went to check, and then they went into a battle, and he lost his son to Alexander the Great's contingent there. So he lost family in that particular battle as well.
Yeah, so the battle commenced. Obviously, King Porus was leading his army on an elephant, and he had a chain metal, so he didn't have the actual tower because the rest of his army had towers on top of the elephants with archers and people that throw javelins in there, and the tower was there to protect them from incoming, hostile things. So he's leading the charge himself. The Greeks had the upper hand because their weapon, I think it's called the sarissa, right, is much longer than the swords that the King Porus people was using, and on top of that, their armor is much better. Yeah,
and they're more experienced as well.
And there was a standing army, whereas King Porus' army was not a standing army. It was just an army that was comprised at short notice just to try and repel this attack from the lands, right? So obviously they've carried on battling, all this kind of stuff, right? The elephants, right? How they got the elephants, how Alexander fought the elephants was he got his archers to concentrate on their eyes. Right, so when he was doing that on the eyes, a lot of the elephants, like the stampede.
Can I just interrupt? One of the things why the Greeks or Alexander the Great had a problem, they were not used to fighting elephants. In fact, it was one of the first time a lot of the Greek infantry was scared. And so imagine there was 100 elephants coming at you, and you had these people on top with archers and stuff. So what happened is that obviously a lot of people were kind of fearful of that. That's why this kind of battle kind of like repelled. And we'll talk about it like you said that he lost, but I say that he lost the war, but he lost the battle but won the war. So go on.
Yeah, so carrying on from there, like where was I with the elephants I was talking about? Yeah, so the elephants that he had, there was armored, the actual elephants had leather armoring all around them, and it was fire resistant too. And then the tusks and everything had metal spikes in their armor. So when the elephants were coming, they would actually impale you with their spikes. So yeah, going on, the Alexander's army must have used the archers to shoot them in the eyes and all that kind of stuff, and obviously he's flanked him as well at the same time, and the elephants have caused a stampede, killing a lot of their own people and stuff like that. And when he's flanked him, obviously he's outnumbered now, so that's where King Porus, throughout this battle, was fighting valiantly, and Alexander himself saw that, he started to admire this man, and he was like, wow.
And there is rumours, well, it's probably a myth that he was 7 foot.
I don't know.
He probably wasn't, but
but sitting on the elephant, everyone's
but you have these myths of someone 7. He's probably 6 foot, and those times it probably looked like 7 foot.
I'm 6'4", so I'm a big guy. So if he was 6'7", that's not that far off, is it? So
he was probably 6 foot rather than 6. I've heard that before. And when you really think about it, there's no way at that age they would have been 7 foot.
No, why not? Why not? Who told you that?
Well, they could be, but I mean, they could have been. They would have had to live a good life, though.
Definitely 7 foot is that.
I suppose if you're a king, you might have been.
But anyway, he could have been because he was like a giant of a man. They say that's how they described him. So So anyway, throughout that battle, so basically he's like losing. He's lost about 10,000 soldiers by now, Obviously, Alexander's got the upper hand. Alexander started to admire this man now. And he's thinking, wow, this guy's fighting with valor, he's not giving up, all this kind of stuff. So he's decided to send messengers to this man now during the battle. So the battle's still going on, they're fighting. Alexander's sending a messenger to him. And each time, Porus would like hurl a javelin at
a bit like us.
Yeah, so without even listening to him, Porus would just hurl a javelin towards him and make him run back and scarp up.
That's why the Punjabis run.
Yeah,
though.
we don't take no shit.
We don't
so then,
give
in
up,
the end, Alexander decided to send a friend of Porus, someone that was very closely, you know, tied with Porus, to go and tell him to come and listen to Alexander's, you know, whatever he's offering.
Let me guess, he accidentally killed him.
No. That's when this guy actually decided to listen, right? So he listened to him because obviously he respected that person. They knew each other from before. He respected him. So first thing he did when he got off his elephant was he asked for water because he was fighting like, you know, mad, like no water, everything. So he asked for water. Then he sat on a horse and he's gone out to meet Alexander. Alexander personally come out on his horse on his own to meet him. And then obviously they're talking and Alexander asked King Porus, how would you like me to, you know, what would you like your outcome to be? And then King Porus replied by, treat me as a king should be treated, right? So Alexander was so impressed with this statement that he actually made him a
princely state.
No, it wasn't a princely state. It was basically like he could retain his kingdom. Yeah, it would be like that. You can retain your kingdom. Like you kind of pledge allegiance. You pledge allegiance to the Macedonian Empire, but you're not really governed by them. You understand what I'm trying to say? But if anything happens, you know, you're with them.
You don't attack.
Yeah, so it was like that. So he gave him that status, and then Alexander, he decided to set up two cities, one where the battle was fought, and then one a bit further off, I think about 25 kilometers away from there.
What's the city's called now?
I can pull it up. You carry on, you carry on.
Oh yeah, well, one of the things is that what we need to put into context is that Alexander the Great had been warring for 5 years, and he'd gone all the way from Greece all the way to the Arab Peninsula, and so the troops were very war-torn as well. A lot of them didn't want to fight in India. That's true. I'm just being honest with you.
He had to convince them.
Yeah, he had to convince them, and so there's a lot of kind of mutiny behind the scenes. So some of them may not have had the full gusto into it. The other thing is that obviously when you've been fighting for that amount of years, you're going to probably, you know, get so much more kind of experience and weaponry and stuff. But one thing that the King Porus had, they used to have like instead of the normal bows, they'd have these humongous bows. That I think they used to have to just lie down and pull them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so when they'd hit something, it would go straight through it. Yeah. And with the elephants as well, you had the added element of the, you know, imagine like you're from Greece and suddenly you're going into India and there's this massive creature coming along and there's 100 of them. And obviously that demoralized their troops as well. I mean, Alexander the Great, we're going to have to be honest, obviously we're Punjabis and King Porus is a Punjabi, so I big him up. But I think King Alexander the Great was pretty much kind of tired of the fighting rather than, and I think he decided to kind of, all right, because his troops wanted to go back home. And that's why he did admire King Porus. But I think it was also a tactical move as well.
I think he was injured in India as well. I think it's the only place where he got seriously injured.
Yeah.
And the thing is a lot.
Look at the casualties, because throughout Alexander's career, when he goes around, he never suffered heavy casualties. So this was one of the first battles that he suffered heavy casualties, and it says that 1,000 of his people were killed.
Big up the Punjabis. Big up the Punjabis.
So that was probably more, but I mean they wrote less. And Porus' side, they're saying that 12,000 were killed and 9,000 were captured at the end of it, right? So yeah, so I mean, if you look at the figures, that's probably like the first time he suffered a heavy blow like that. And
I mean, you said something interesting. When I met you today, you said, "Oh, he lost."
Yeah, he did.
And I was like, "He lost the battle."
I think he lost one.
But he won the war because Alexander the Great was pushed. If he had defeated King Porus, he would have went into India all the way through.
Wasn't it a case of had he stayed on one side of the Indus, it would have been okay? I think he tried to go further on the other side.
Well, it was a river.
Yeah,
the river Indus. Anything east of the river Indus was called basically modern day India, basically.
Yeah, so basically what we're saying is that the reason why the Punjabis or the North Indians are normally bigger, no offense to the rest of the Indians, are more taller, a little bit more taller, more aggressive. The reason being because that part, to get into India, you had to go through there. So for thousands of years, natural selection has made people from North India tend to be more kind of militaristic. Like the Sikhs who are in North India, in the Indian side, only 1% of the population, but make up 15% of the army. Also, we have the most highly decorated army, and this is why Pakistan can't invade India. And I don't like India anyway, down to the RSS and them. But that's one of the reasons, because they're on the border, and we got Punjabis on one side, Punjabis on the other side.
The Gujaratis are going to take over.
We've also got some other interesting pre-Hindu history going on.
Oh yeah, loads.
That city he was talking about, it was called Nicaea. So that's what he founded. He called the city Nicaea.
Oh, Nicaea, right?
I think it means victory in there.
Because one of the reasons we're going to do this series, like we've spoken about Alexander the Great, because we can unify in this. What happens? The problem with the Asian subcontinent is this, especially North India. We're all very prideful of our history. Like my history of Sikh history, a lot of Sikhs, when you're Sikh and you ask them about pre-Sikhism, they don't know nothing. Their history started in the 15th century.
You were saying last week that Sikhism goes back 10,000 years.
No, we're talking about our history go. Before we were Sikhs, before we were Sikhs, we were either Hindus, Buddhists, pagans. So the reason why there's division sometimes between the Punjabis is that what happens is that when we talk about our history, one Punjabi Muslim will say Islamic history, and I'll be talking about Sikh history, and the Hindu will be talking about Hindu history. What happens? We've got history is the same. That's the reality, but we have 3 different perceptions of it.
So
what happens?
Biases.
Maybe biases, but what happens is that we then have conflict. So whenever I've had a conversation about the Mughals, we start to talk about what you call kind of like, you know, I go into the negatives of it. So
because obviously he's not a Muslim, so for him, you look at it in a negative way. Because they were
we see it as an invading force, where he'll see it as a liberating force.
So anyway, let me carry on.
So what we're doing is like, what we're doing.
So what were they liberated from?
Well, they would assume from liberated from being pagans.
You hear me? So he likes to answer for both people.
So I'm just saying you would have been...
No, but we were Muslim before they came, man. Who told you that?
You're mad you was
Muslim. I was Muslim before they came.
Before what?
Yeah, before Mughals. The Sufis came before the Mughals. The Sufis
before they came. Now let's not talk about this. We're already going negative. We're already going negative.
I'm going to drop something to you. You know the Prophet's family, when they migrated, their followers went to Iran and Pakistan.
Before that,
they didn't go anywhere else.
Before
so
the
where did Islam come? Tell me.
Listen, we're not only talking about one negative, then we're moving. Before Islam was created or Islam was formed, your people must have been something. They must have either been pagans or Hindus.
Before Islam was formed, I don't think I was in present-day Punjab, and neither were you. Go check your history. I just told you we were Scythian, bro, and we weren't even from there.
We're gonna have to talk about
King Porus is not Scythian. I tell you that now.
Oh, but even if they weren't from there,
so he might be a different kind of Punjabi to me and you.
Even if they weren't from there, they still would have been a different form of religion.
Let me touch on the end of the battle. Let's go. So the good thing about him, fighting Alexander with such a huge force, it kind of demoralized Alexander's troops. Because they would have pushed into India further and tried to conquer the whole of the Indian subcontinent, right? So because of that, such a heavy loss that they felt too, and the kind of beasts of war that the elephants and stuff they introduced in this warfare, they were very discouraged. And the actual army were in a kind of rebellion, uproar and stuff like that. They wanted to go back to the west. So Alexander had to succumb to this. But while he was doing that, he did make them carry on marching down south a little bit to, secure the banks of the Jhelum River. So that would be the end of his empire, you get me? So that would be the stretch of his empire. So then from there they made their way back.
And he died shortly after.
That kind of like, that battle really set the tone. So those forces didn't really come back and try to invade India further, the subcontinent.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that the importance of it is that if the battle went a different way,
India
would have been a different... had a different history.
And even now, we have a lot of influence with the Greeks.
Yeah.
Because if you go in your part of India, how many Greek kind of, buildings and all that kind of style?
Oh, the architecture, all of it's influenced, like the Mughal Empire has an influence in architecture, obviously the Greeks.
But the Greeks, they did not go to the modern day India though, only like, let's say 1% of India they went to.
It was in Afghanistan, Kashmir and Pakistan.
Yeah,
but India is basically
just
2%
just
of it.
To the tip.
Just Punjab.
Just the tip.
But that's why Pakistanis are only related to the modern day Punjabis. That's about it. And modern day Punjabis only make 2% of the population, right?
That's true.
Of India.
Yeah, so basically Pakistanis and Punjabis.
What are you saying? We're not related to the rest of India.
The rest of it, only the Punjabis.
I mean, only Punjabis. I'm going to be.
We might be related to you, lot.
Let me say something.
The rest of it.
I agree.
They're 2%.
I agree. I don't.
Punjabis are related to us.
When I say that I'm Punjabi and I'm not Indian, I don't really have that much in common with. When you look at the rest of India, they're kind of the way they behave. The way that, no, I'm talking about even if you look at other Indians, the way other Indians are, they're very different in temperament. The people from North India and Punjab.
Dravidians.
They're the ones that came from the north. And
no, south. They're from the south.
So there's a theory that
like people from Tamil Nadu, Sri Lanka, all of it.
So this is something that we can discuss in the future. The Indus Valley Civilization, which is one of the oldest civilizations.
I want to say something about
There's 2 theories. One of the theories, there was an Aryan invasion, and the inhabitants of the Indus Valley, which is going back around 4,000 or 5,000 years ago, was inhabited by Dravidians, dark-skinned Indians.
That's right.
And the Aryans come down, pushing them down.
I think they're the original inhabitants.
That's one theory. The other theory, they both contain their theories. That's called the Aryan invasion. But the other theory is that the people that were there were always
there. Yeah, they weren't on North India. Like
they didn't get pushed down. The Dravidians were always down there. So there's two theories that
I would agree with that one. You want to come in?
You'd agree with the second one or the first one?
Yeah, I just want to say one thing about the Indus Valley civilization that he was talking about. There was a recent study. It was called the Geonabic Formation of South and Central Asia, and they came up with the conclusion is that it's the most recent study. And they said in the Indus Valley civilization there was two types of people. There was one, they were called Southern indigenous people, and there was in the north they were called Northern indigenous people. So the northern people, which is basically in modern day Pakistan at that time, they were basically Iranian farmers mixed in with the people of modern day Pakistan.
Even Turkic nomad tribes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Iranian farmers and they're Turkic, Mongol, like they have a lot of mixture. And then in the present day India, which is not part of the Indus Valley civilization, one thing I want to clarify: India has no right to the Indus Valley civilization. Only
these people do.
Hold on, can you clarify? Can you say that again?
India has
what's
no.
your theory then? Do you think it was? Can you just clarify? Because I'll just.
Yeah.
Are you saying that the population that was there was always indigenous to that place?
At that time, in the modern day of Pakistan, I believe there was two types of people. There's one, the Indus Valley civilization, who are people that were mixed in, Iranians and the indigenous people of modern day Pakistan, which I'll call Indus, So I don't want to misrepresent linguistics.
River,
and the second type of people were the people of east of the Indus River. And they were linguistically called Bharat, or anything east of the Indus River was called Bharat at that time.
So you don't believe in the Aryan invasion theory then?
I do believe the Aryans came to modern day Pakistan and they mixed in with those people.
All right, but you don't believe there were Dravidians and pushed out?
The Dravidians were part of the...
You think they kind of assimilated with them?
The Dravidians, you know the only... Do you know how the Dravidians mixed in with the Aryans?
Yeah.
You know after the Indus Valley civilization, there was another civilization called the Gangetic civilization. And the present day Indus Valley people, they migrated to India. And they mixed in with the local Dravidian population, and this is how we get the present day population.
Well, let me ask you a question though. When you look at modern day North India, we're very kind of look at him, like more aggressive type of people.
Of course, that's what I'm saying.
But let me just say that.
Wait, you forgot the Pashtuns.
This is what I'm saying. The North Indians.
North India, you have to
the North Indians are very aggressive.
Afghanistan,
but the reason,
North Pakistan,
let me just explain.
Punjab,
the Indus Valley civilization was a non-warlike civilization.
Yes, because they found no weapons.
They had no hierarchy, no leaders, no real thing. It was a very civilized, very almost like a utopia type of society.
Exactly.
So I can't imagine someone like me and Bigards going around in a civilization like that.
Invaders.
Yeah. So who are they then? Because the North Indians are very temperamental, and that civilization was just a kind of a very peaceful. They found hardly any weapons.
Yes,
there was no real what you call kind of hierarchy for a king or anything like that. It was a very kind of egalitarian kind of society.
But it's the same. Like,
so
Pakistan can be considered
and this is where it gets controversial.
That's what I'm saying.
If you look at South Indians, their temperament is more like that.
Exactly. I do agree with them in that certain degree that there was no weapons found in the Indus Valley civilization. Yeah. So there was one theory that the Indus Valley civilization got wiped out because they had no weapons.
Let's talk about that next week, innit?
Next week, I think.
So what we're going to do, we'll kind of...
Because it's a big topic, it's a massive topic.
So basically what we'll do is, like, anyone that wants to join the topic, you can join.
Yeah.
What we'll do, we'll set the topic for next week and we'll say about
the Indus... It's not a debate, it's going to be like
this. It's a discussion.
Nice,
just history.
We just add what we know and, people can add, you can come
and I want to learn as well, so I don't know.
What's your topic for next week?
So next week we'll talk about the Indus Valley civilization.
Are you going to not break it down a bit more?
We could break it down. So we will communicate during the week.
Well, what we could do is concentrate on, because you're saying like there's two theories. We can try and discuss the two theories.
We can read the studies.
Because the theories are like...
This chap's got a third, you've got a third theory, haven't you?
No, it's not a third theory. It's the most authentic and recent study. It's called the Geonabic Formation.
And the thing is, there is some truth of some exterior force coming in, because when my mum done a DNA test, there was Finnish blood in the DNA test.
Central Asian as well?
Central Asian, 1%. So 1% Central Asian, 3% Finnish. But I don't believe these tests. There was also Red Indian in Native Americans. I don't know where they come from. So a lot of it, I'm not sure if it's true, but I was a bit shocked when I saw that. And you can see in the Indian subcontinent, when you go north, they are very light. Some people in my family are whiter than you. Yeah. I've got one of my sisters so light, and I've got cousins that are almost white. So there must have been some kind of people within that area coming in and mixing.
That could be environmental. That could be due to it being a lot colder.
It's colder as well. That's one.
For example,
that's one
in Kashmir and in Gilgit-Baltistan is very cold. If you go now, it's like a mountainous, cold climate area.
Look at Europe, for example. You go to South Italy, South Greece, and then you go up to Norway.
And we could also talk
like 10 shades of white.
We could also talk about the most controversial one about colourism.
Yeah.
Because yesterday, I fell for it. Someone saw one of my old pictures. This is how much is ingrained in your head. Someone showed I showed an old picture of myself when I was younger and I was lighter for some reason. And I think it was a flash and somebody said, "Oh, Raj, how did you get so dark?" Then I started looking at myself like,
and you were pissed like,
I was pissed like, but you see, but it's so ingrained in the Indian psychology.
You know where we come from. Like the biggest selling cream is Fair and Lovely.
Yeah, I know. So I think this is something to do. I think this is something to do with. If you look at the caste system, originally
that happens in Africa.
Oh, but originally in the caste system, originally it was much more rigid in terms of colour. Right now, the people have mingled so much that a Brahmin, who is a top class, would look like a Dravidian in terms of skin colour.
That's just a Hindu thing, isn't it?
But no, that's not just it. Did
it not start from Hinduism?
It did, but if you went back 3,000 or 4,000 years ago, I have a feeling that the people that wore the lighter skin were much more kind of like definitive, like light to dark. Because there's a real bad colorism within the Indian subcontinent.
Do you know that's everywhere though?
No, but it's on another level of madness in India.
Now, go to Japan, you get...
No, never level. You don't know the Indians,
Pakistan
man.
now, what it is, is the media and the westernization of the whole world at the moment is making it. And on top of that, the colonialism. Right, so they used to look at the colonial masters as like...
Don't forget, in Europe, we're going the other way now. We want to look darker.
You lot have been doing that for time, but you still persecute us, though. Not you exactly.
The poor Indians, the poor Asians.
So what it is, like, you're right about that. The people would love to go and get a tan, but their countries will still persecute us and stuff like that.
Come on, big odds. Look at the size of you, man.
But anyway, that's not what I was talking about. So what I was saying is that in our country, it's true, a lot of people, they look down upon darker skin. And I think we need to fight that.
That's within your own culture.
We need to
fight.
We'll
talk about Bangladeshi history as well.
This is the thing that I was getting at.
That's what he's saying.
It's in the Hinduism culture.
Not in yours.
It's not in my culture.
Oh yeah, come in.
But the reason we have it is because of colonialization and the
villages, but they're persecuted quite badly.
And the magazine, you know,
they migrated around. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, exactly.
They migrated over like 400 years ago.
So the women want to look like that, right?
They talk like Indians,
when men are a bit dark in my country, they want to look a bit lighter.
And I can say it.
To appeal to women.
Yeah, I think it's more popular in India though.
Yeah, I can speak about it. It's very bad. So I'm not even trying.
It's a foreignly introduced
concept. With them, it's an actual hierarchy system. They have a system, right? In their part, they've got a system. Yeah, if you're the darker you are, you're at the bottom of the thing.
But no, let's not do that.
You're
getting me in trouble.
Maybe the woman
trying to be good today.
That's a different thing. You get me? Whereas there, it's like you're an untouchable.
Yeah, I mean
at the top. They don't touch the man at the bottom.
Yeah,
it's hard level.
This is what India has, just to go into bash a bit of India, let's do a bit of India bashing. The reason why India is going to have problems, has had problems over the centuries, is because people when you're in a caste system, based on caste system, you're not based on meritocracy. So somebody could be a Dalit and be one of the most intelligent people in the world, but because he's a Dalit...
That's a destruction for a nation.
Yeah, so it's so rigid that someone could be a Dalit, they could be Einstein.
That's why India's a third world.
You're mad, it is actually. I don't like India anyway, so down to the RSS.
Pick up Imran Khan.
Oh, down to Imran Khan. Actually, Imran Khan, they did all right. Let's not go to nationalism.
Yeah, let's carry on with the debate. It's all right so far. It's a good discussion.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Like the whole history of even something like, Muslims aren't allowed to play chess. But chess was created in India.
I play backgammon though still.
Somebody told me you can't play chess.
Someone said they're bringing the board down.
Somebody told me that Muslims can't play chess. You don't know the pieces, bro. Somebody said Muslims can't play chess.
No one told me not to play chess.
Why did they get rid of chess and not something like stone throwing and stuff?
Chess is a colonial man's game though, know that, isn't it? Chess is a colonial game.
Like 7th century, someone's chucking stones and like doing rollovers, but the game they stopped was chess.
You know chess has got ulterior motives behind it. That was like the white community used to train to fight the black.
Strategy.
Yeah.
The white used to train to...
Don't you know how chess was
created? Oh, it's that race again.
By who? The Indians?
I'm not sure.
There's a chessboard, man. Indians didn't know about a race like that at that time when they made the black and the white ones. They just wanted a good time playing chess.
Hindi.
Or Hindi.
We call it chess, I don't know.
What do you call it in Hindi?
I'm going to find out. It's not going to be chess, it's going to be something else.
I think you might be right.
We can also talk about in the future.
It was something different. It was something like, the colonial powers, they would use that to their advantage, you get me? And like,
let me ask you a question though, Big Odds. One of the things, a lot of Muslims get triggered when I start saying that, the Rig Vedas and all of this kind of stuff, and the Mahabharata, the Rig Vedas and stuff. So are you guys comfortable to talk about stuff like that? Because that's Indian history.
We can talk about it. But what I'm saying is...
But you do believe it's part of your history?
But I don't believe in that stuff.
You don't have to believe in it. I don't believe in Harry Potter, but I can still read it.
That's more like a Harry Potter book to me.
Yeah, so it's to me as well. And what?
So why you want to talk about Harry Potter then?
Because that book, the Rig Vedas and the Sanskrit is one of the oldest languages known to mankind.
Does it not have important philosophy in it? Or
Yeah,
is it just
loads.
fairy
I mean, when they make, I mean, it's probably not the best thing, but when the nuclear bomb was set, they quoted the Rig Vedas.
Right, really?
There was a German scientist, so he quoted the Rig Vedas because there's a story of a nuclear kind of explosion during that. So you don't have to believe in it. You don't even have to agree with it.
But if it's got important philosophical points, and it doesn't matter how they're...
Yeah, so this is where we have a problem. Like, no offense, like some Muslims like who get more devout, when they start talking about stuff like this, because it's pagan to them, they won't accept
they
it.
get very...
But you don't have to accept it.
To do it?
What do you mean?
What if we don't want to know about them things? Why do you want us to like go?
I like to shove the pill down your throat.
If we don't want to know about
and then you have to accept it.
You can talk about it.
I can talk about it, but
if we don't want to know about it,
I know, but it's just part of history. It's just a part. It's just the thing is,
I'm interested.
hold on, the Sanskrit. Well, you should be because the language is. Hold on,
but not all of us though. Some of us are Buddhists, some of us are Hindu. So the people that are Buddhists, we're not idol worshippers.
But do you know that all the Indo-European languages, have a connection to Sanskrit?
Pardon?
All the Indo-European languages have a connection to Sanskrit. So Sanskrit is a
they're related. They're related languages.
I mean, I speak Urdu and Punjabi.
So what I'm trying to say to you is that
Urdu is a mix of Farsi,
what I'm trying to say to you is that
Arabic.
What I'm trying to say to you is that this particular language of Sanskrit, you may not like it because of the negative connotations of paganism, but it has affected other languages and world history through that. So we should be proud of that.
The same way you don't like Arabic. And
I hate that.
You don't like my Urdu numerals.
But this is why we're not talking about the 10th century afterwards.
No, but that's our language now, isn't it? So what I'm saying is I can't read your
Sanskrit. We're already having problems now.
No, I'm giving you an example. I can't read Sanskrit. I don't know what it says.
Your language comes from Sanskrit.
No, I think
parts of it, our language is influenced by so many different languages.
We can't read them.
Our language is influenced by so many languages: Sanskrit, Arabic, Urdu, Turkish, Persian.
So it's hard. Like when I look at it, it's like foreign. But when I look at Arabic, when I look at my numerals, I know what's A, B, C,
Yeah, but that's the same with me. When I look, this is the thing. Like,
we can talk about it.
The thing is, we both had the language of Punjabi as the dialect, as the thing. But our written language is different. We have Gurmukhi.
Yeah.
You have Arabic. When you write in Punjabi, it's in the Arabic numerals.
We write in Urdu.
But what's the? Is it not?
It's
similar.
They got different numerals.
Different numerals.
For example, my chain here,
the points are different and things like that.
These guys are going to get, bored or.
Yeah, because I won't be interested in that, to be honest.
No, but the thing is, they have to be bored.
Yeah, so you could do it on your own.
For me, it's very interesting.
Hold on. I don't care about whether Big Odds is bored, yeah? The point is that he will talk about a subject matter that I won't like.
Let's just talk about Indus Valley or something like that.
But you can't talk about the Indus Valley and all of this stuff without mentioning the Rig Vedas and the Mahabharata and the Sanskrit. What I'm saying is, it is part of that northern history that is essential to the history.
You could cover
the
language.
You're supplanting Arabic history with your own history. I don't think you should.
Who told you that?
But you just said you're not interested in this stuff, which is your history.
Yeah.
It goes back
we
to
created our own language right now. We haven't got Arabic as a language.
No, but he's talking about the Rig Vedas.
But before your people were...
He's talking about origins, basically.
What I'm saying is that at some point, your people were probably part of that civilization.
But the Indus Valley civilization, we're not speaking Sanskrit, though.
What he's talking about.
But what I'm saying is that...
I told you I'm an invader to that land. So is he.
Well, you don't know that.
I 100% know that.
We can do a DNA.
But you check my DNA.
Hold on, you could have.
Not from there.
Hold on, you could have invaded.
Those people are different to us.
Right,
he said this earlier. The people that speak Sanskrit and all that.
Scythians are Persian.
Persian, yeah, all that.
Look at Pashtun, Balochi.
All right, let's talk about
Turkic nomads, maybe Mongol nomads.
Let me ask you this: would you be interested in Persia?
You cool.
Yeah, we can speak about that kind of stuff. Yeah,
you would.
Yeah, but not. I don't want to speak about it because that's not my history.
Okay.
It's not about being your history. It's not my history either.
Sanskrit.
Yeah, it's all.
It's affecting everything within the north. All Indo-European languages, when they try to figure it out, they realise that it's all connected. To even English, to French, to all of the...
It's not part of us.
Our language is mixed by so many different languages. So even if it's Sanskrit, it's part of a language. It doesn't matter. It's like small.
No, but they're trying to say you should care about it.
Why should I care about it?
Just know about it.
Language.
So you don't need to even like it. It's just about learning. Learn a little bit about this. You would be happy.
Open your mind.
What we talk about next week, though?
The problem is, so can I ask you a question? Do you not, you know the Indians, let's say like further from Punjab, do you see them as your people as well? They're separate people.
Separate people, 100%. For example, the people that are south to Punjab,
Yeah.
People, yeah, of course.
Yeah, after you go from like say where we are, like the
of course,
Sikhs,
they're totally different.
that,
they are totally different.
But what do you think of the people in the Punjab though?
Yeah, I already clarified that before. I said the people in Punjab and India, they are genetically same than the modern day Pakistanis. But anything beyond Punjab, they are totally different than us. This is proven by genetic research by the haplogroups. Like 4 of the 5 haplogroups that are found in Pakistan is also found in Western Asia and in Europe. But anything like
I agree with the Dravidians. Hold on, I agree with you about the Dravidians, because the Dravidians are actually we don't want to talk about race, but when you're talking about race, they are actually a different race of people. The Dravidians, they have a different phenotype.
But even the North Indians.
But when you're talking about Gujaratis and maybe even people north to the when you go further from Punjab, are they not related to you in some way?
So let me tell you something. They might have similarities with us, but not 100%. Let me tell you why. Because the land of modern day Pakistan, which we call Indus, they were conquered by the Persian empires, by so many different empires. But at that time, those Gujarat and those areas, they were ruled by Dravidian empires.
So how far do you? Now this is just for me, so I know. Obviously, we have Punjab here,
northwest
Pakistan.
India.
So how far do you go down this way?
So, for example, this is the whole of Pakistan right now, and northwest India and North India. So
up to that top section.
I would say, just when it reaches
like
Punjab.
Kashmir, you classify Kashmir in that.
Yeah, of course, exactly.
What about Gujarat?
Like I said to you, while we were conquered by the Persian Empire, Gujarat was sometimes conquered by the Persian Empire, and sometimes it was not. It was conquered by their own Dravidian sub-kingdoms. So we might have.
We got the Gujaratis.
So we might have some. There's a Gujarat in Pakistan as well, by the way.
They're very nice, soft people.
So yeah, we might have genetic similarities.
You know when the Gujarati, have you been to a Gujarati/Sikh wedding or Punjabi wedding? It's like 2 different people. Yeah, the Gujaratis are
what about the language?
Gujarati, they're so polite, and then the Punjabis quite rough, and so So I think there is a difference in temperament. You can see, even if you speak to a Muslim Gujarati, their temperament is very different. Yeah, they're very similar.
Why is that?
Because I think because I said it before, because of North India where we're from, that place was invaded so many times that the people from North India, in the Punjab especially, because to get into India you have to go through it, natural selection started selecting, obviously the weak die, and then you have, obviously people like Bigard suddenly pop up.
The weak die, Exactly the same with the Pashtuns as well. You must have heard of the Pashtuns. They live in Peshawar.
I mean, obviously I'm always bashing.
So many lands have tried conquering the Pashtun areas, but they have never been successful.
But the Sikhs did it. Hadi Singh Nalwal.
Afghanistan and the Pashtuns had a very long war.
Who did it though?
Huh?
Who did it though?
So I heard of the story of the 21
The Khyber
Sikhs.
Pass. No, not that. The Khyber Pass was conquered by Hadi Singh Nalwal and Maharaj Ranjit.
Yeah, of course, for like 50 to 100 years, no problem.
Big up to the Pashtuns, but the Sikhs, we big them up better though. So sorry, bro.
My mom's Pashtun, by the way. My mom's Pashtun. We fought off the Sikhs eventually.
No, can I say that? The Pashtuns are bad asses. So that's why whenever I say that we managed to beat them and do that, do you know one of the stories? When they used to, you can research this, to put the children to sleep, they would say to the children, Hadi Singh Nalwal's coming. And the children would suddenly fall asleep.
They heard of that story.
Are you mad, man?
It's true. It's a true story. Some Afghans over there just fell asleep.
Listen,
some Afghans oversleep over there.
Did you hear about the nonsense?
Oh no, but that story is actually a negative story.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm going to tell the story about that. He's saying at 12 o'clock the Sikhs gone mad. But let's not go into it. The reason why the Sikhs went mad is because at 12 o'clock we used to bust the Mughals' asses and get back our women. That's what we did.
But can I say
Let's
something?
leave it at that.
Let me say something before.
I want to talk about partition as well.
You know the Mughals, yeah? Every one of the Mughal leaders, apart from a few, were drunkards, paedophiles, misogynists. They used to love women. Yeah, they had harems,
not all of them, not all of them.
I said the majority. And there must have been a few that
They
were
sounded like a good time.
Majority of them were like that, brother, yeah? And even a lot of the Ottoman, like, you see the
I'm
Ottoman
joking
empires,
about that before.
a lot of them people were doing, see the leaders have committed a lot of sin in places of power. Yeah. So when they were saying this is all an Islamic thing, they weren't really living the way they were trying to preach and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm not saying that they were pious Muslims. I'm not going to say that.
We recognise the atrocities of the Mughal Empire, but it's not just all bad though.
They done bad too.
Let's not talk about it. I'm starting to froth at the mouth. I'm starting to froth at the mouth and get angry.
But so the Sikh Empire was not like just glory and just, people fought with the pride. Like in the partition, we know what the Sikhs did to the Muslims.
Hold on, what I'm trying to say is that...
You heard them called us...
One of my family...
All I'm saying is that the Sikhs here have a short but very varied history. And that one of the great achievements of any people is that in 1750 we were being persecuted by the Mughals.
Just know that we're not Mughals.
In 1750... Hold on. In the 1750 the Sikhs were being persecuted by the Mughals to near extinction. But by 1800 we were running things in Punjab. But in 50 years we were running things in Punjab all the way to Afghanistan up to the Khyber Pass.
So they're not
I know. That's why I blame Hassan, the mad Turk.
We're not the Mughals. Yeah, we're actual people that are like
yeah, they're all actually descendants of the Mongols.
So exactly, so I don't know why you have the hate against Pakistan.
I don't hate the hate, I just don't like the fact that when you normally, this is one of the issues here, whenever you start, this is why this is good, because normally when you're talking to a Pakistani, you start saying, oh, what about this history? They don't want to know.
Like, we don't mind talking about it, but a lot of the time what it is, yeah, you know why they're not so interested in it? Because obviously we're Muslim and we believe that we found the right way of life, the right path.
Yeah, but you can still,
but like
you
said,
can still know that something.
No, we don't mind learning.
That I could learn about, you know, Japanese history and still not be Japanese or believe in it. It's about embracing it.
Feudal Japan is a very, very nice topic to learn, man. Very nice.
Let's get Tan back. I know he's from China.
Is he from Japan?
That would be racist. That would be racist.
He's not from Japan.
I know.
He's Chinese.
He's originally Chinese.
Then he lives in Malaysia.
He's Malaysian, but from a Chinese background.
He lives in Malaysia.
But he's Chinese originally.
His people is not Malaysian. He's not.
No, he's not Malaysian. He's people from Chinese China. All right, we're gonna wrap it up. So next week, what's the topic then?
Indus Valley. You want to talk
we'll
about
do Indo. We do the Indus Valley civilization.
Harappa or something like that?
No. Let's get the most controversial one out of the way, because then it will establish whether you think that the people of North India have always been there, or whether they're an invading force.
So you talk about the theories?
Yeah, so we'll
check all the studies.
If we can get a Dravidian down, any Dravidians out there, if they want to come down and have
Sri Lankan brothers,
any of those guys.
Yeah, we should get Bangladeshi here.
Yeah, Bangladeshi.
Where is he, little Mohib?
One thing though, their history doesn't tie in with us.
No, it's a separate history.
Yeah, of course, I know. That's why they like broke down upon us as well, because
they're on East India.
Bengalis are more like Southern Indians, to be honest. Like
they are. They're more of a mix. No, they're actually a mix of like Dravidians
and a lot of the Chinese Oriental. They have a mix of that as well.
Yeah, so they got more. That's why they're normally smaller and I don't want to say darker, because it makes me feel like I'm being a.
It's not being racist.
It's true. They have a darker complexion.
They're more darker complexion.
Yeah, they do. That's just the way it is.
From the part of the world they are. That's yummy.
There's nothing wrong with that though.
All right,
you can be what skin colour you want.
So next week we'll do the Aryan invasion, or the theory of Aryan invasion theory, and we'll decide and we'll research it, and then next week we'll come back and we'll discuss that. Anyway,
yo, big up DJ Riza.
Big up the Punjabis. Big up the Punjabis.
Oh God.
Take care, man. All right. Anyway, man, you as well, even though he's the right guy, but he's okay. We'll have to do it. You're not going to do it. You're not going to do it.
Give him a spot.
Look at that. That's the thing, though. Look, I was trying to be the better man.
You know what he said? It's not about being the better man.
I was trying to be the better man.
It's not about the better man.
I was trying to be the better man.
What are you saying?
I was trying to be the better man.
Unless you apologise what you said.
No, I'm not apologising for nothing, but I'm trying to be the better man.
He's saying he's not going to do it.
I'm trying to be the better man, and this guy is throwing him at my face.
I'm sorry.
This is why I start getting pissed off with Pakistanis.
No, the reason why I'm doing this.
You're going to make me
the reason why I'm doing this is because he said, my people are rats, are this and that. I don't like it.
Why would you standing next to me then?
I was talking because.
Why would you standing next to me?
Because we're debating a different topic, but what he's saying, as a person, he has that issue with you still, isn't it?
Is that respecting our
Yeah, this guy's a grooming gang denier.
There we go. That's why I respect him. I never denied the grooming gang.
He's a grooming gang denier.
When have I ever denied it?
When have I denied it?
The reason why he's a grooming gang denier, he says to me that not even 25% yet of groomers.
I said 25%. I said 25%. I said 25%.
You said 25%, but I say 85%.
Look, Quilliam again.
So
Quilliam, Raj.
For argument's sake,
we're not going
to talk about it today. I don't want it to go negative.
I told you last week.
I don't want it to go negative. No. But the guy's being disrespectful though.
You've been disrespectful.
No, I do. No, but the thing is, the guys are being disrespectful. And the thing is, I don't want to shake his hand anyway, but I thought be polite and be Raj.
I was being respectful. I just wanted to.
He was cordial the whole time.
All right, I'm going to be a right little prick with you from now on. Trust me.
I don't really care, to be honest.
That's the next time you speak to me on camera, you're mad. You're going to do that.
Man, you said bad things about my people, my country, my lineage, my history. I'm never going to respect anyone like that. Just because I had a civil conversation with him does not mean I respect him.
Well, I'm not talking to you again.
I don't really care.
But that's understandable.
I don't care. I don't care.
Brother, listen.
If he's got personal issue, don't talk to me then.
Look, he made a claim that I'm a grooming guy.
What I'm saying to you, if you got personal issue, don't stand in my vicinity then.
That's disgusting.
Don't sit in my vicinity.
Yeah, wrap it up, man. Wrap it up.
And your country is a third world.
There we go. Your country is a third world.
Great
capital of the world.
Now what?
Great capital of the world. Great capital of the world.
Raj.
Nowhere.
You were here 1 hour ago then.
There was no debate here, man.
There wasn't a debate here.
We didn't have a debate here.
We started good and it went well.
One man comes over and talks about debate. We didn't even have a debate.
All right, we'll end it like that. That's it. I'm not talking to this guy again.
Just because he didn't spot you,
No, because the thing is,
but listen, let me explain.
No, the thing is, it's disrespect. So the thing is, like, I'm not going to talk to a man that is that disrespectful.
But listen, he's not a grooming guy.
We don't talk to the man.
Have you seen your live streams against Pakistan about my people? He violated my mother, my father, because he said about Pakistani. I can never respect anyone like that.
I understand.
In the streets, you know it'd be different, bro. But I know you're
I totally understand where you're coming from.
I'm 19
That's why I said
years
to him,
old.
bro, come on.
I'm a youngster. I'm a 19 17 years old.
Bro, you've got the fire in your belly still, I know.
Yeah, 100.
It's cool.
What about PK though, innit? Pakistan's in the
Yes,
vibe.
Riza, you still rolling? What, you got anything to say? Say it, bro.
So let's say about the Asaya Bibi thing, yeah?
Yeah, Asaya Bibi.
You know, Asaya Bibi. You know what's happening right now? Yeah.
But let him speak, man.
Hold up.
Let him talk though, yeah? Don't just overrun the conversation, because he's going to come...
Let me speak, please. Well, can you move out the way, please?
Crazy.
Alright, so what's happening in Asaya Bibi? You know, there's a party called the Tehreek Labaik or something, yeah? It's a minority party. It didn't even get voted to become like the Prime Minister or anything, yeah? And those people are causing such a havoc in Pakistan, and they're saying Asaya Bibi should be put to death, even though there's no like evidence for her to like that she did. Maybe she criticized the Prophet, right? But even if she did, it was out of anger. And in Islam, yeah, we don't basically put people to death just because they're blasphemers.
No one in Pakistan has ever been executed
from the government. From the government, not even one person has died because they have. Apparently,
for argument's sake, if she did curse the Prophet...
Well, we're not talking about that.
No, argument's sake...
Look, can I
if I touch the cow the wrong way in India, what's happening to me?
I condemn that.
What's happening to me?
In India,
so we condemn that.
A cow is more safer than a Muslim woman.
But I'm asking you...
We condemn that.
We don't think she should die. I'm asking you...
Do you think she should die?
Imran Khan... Hold on. He hates Imran Khan. He defended Asaya Bibi.
I'm asking you a question.
No, I don't want to ask you a question.
No, you need... For argument's sake...
Let me finish. Let me finish, then you can ask me a question.
Let him talk for a bit.
So basically, Imran Khan...
Are you going to answer the question though?
Yes, I will. Imran Khan came in national television and he said to the people that how dare you protest against what's happening to Asaya Bibi? For example, like they want to kill because they came for the killing of all the leaders that pled innocence to Asaya Bibi. Imran Khan goes, listen, the judge, they rule by the Quran and Sunnah. Of course, maybe not 100%, but their legislation, their rulings came from the Quran and Sunnah. And they came to the conclusion that Asaya Bibi should be free and that she was falsely accused and that she should not be in prison. Like a big God said, in like the whole history of Pakistan, no one has actually died or executed from the government for the...
People have lynched people.
Right,
that's understandable. It happens in India. If you touch the cow...
Now, I know your question. If someone basically blasphemes the Prophet in a public crowd, should they be put to death? That's your question.
Let me just put something into context. First of all, well done Pakistan, well done Imran Khan for sticking to your guns.
And the majority of the people.
And the majority of the people condemning it. I give them props for that, but you're still in the third world, you're still not moved up yet.
It's better than your country.
That's your opinion.
And this is not the rape capital though.
I need to get them out of there, but
India is the rape capital of the world.
100,000 rapes every year. 100,000 rapes every single year.
If Asaya Bibi is allowed to leave the country because there's now kind of a no-fly zone with her.
The other day, someone in India, you know what they done? In the ICU, the nurse, she took money off someone and she bought 3 grown men inside a 3-year-old kid's room and they all molested the kid in India.
100,000
capital of the world. Yeah, that is a third world. Don't talk about that.
And yeah, we agreed. India can be a third world as well. So what I'm saying is this year, now, you're talking about no one's been killed under the blasphemy law.
From the government.
From the government, but there has been over 65 people lynched or murdered when somebody has made a claim against them. And because the claim is so...
How many years, Raj?
In around, well, I think it's been 30 years, 25 years. So that is still unacceptable. Now the thing is, Asaya Bibi was put into prison and she was there for 8 years on death row on a situation where... Yeah, I know. What I'm trying to say is that it's not as clear cut. I well done for the Pakistan government for pushing forwards and doing the right thing. I give them props.
Straight away, she might have been lynched.
Can I say something?
But the thing is, I need to ask you a question though. I need to ask you a question. The court found that there wasn't enough evidence. Now I'm going to ask you, for argument's sake, if Asaya Bibi was to go in the middle of the road and say, F this, F that about your religion and your prophet, would you agree with a death penalty for it?
It's not a yes or no answer. Let me answer it from my perspective.
Yeah, well, it is quite a simple answer.
So basically, you believe in democracy, you believe in social consensus. So if the social consensus of the Pakistani people is that they want the blasphemy law, is up to them.
I'm asking you on a moral, on a singular level.
So if it's up to them, yeah, that they want... Okay, listen. If they want
to you're diverting and deflecting.
I'm going to answer your question eventually, but let me just...
eventually, I haven't got time. I need to go in a bit. So
if the Pakistani people want to come to a social consensus that they want blasphemy law, you cannot, like, from that premise, you can't basically refute it due to the fact that you believe in democracy. And if the democracy is that they want to have blasphemy laws, it's up to them. So basically,
so you as for you on a moral level,
so basically, blasphemy is more of a law, so people don't insult the Prophet Muhammad in that specific way. In Pakistan, you are allowed to criticize. No, let me make it clear. Criticize, all right, and insulting is 2 different things. So if you say F Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, yeah, you will be prosecuted. You will be prosecuted. Yeah.
Right, but do you agree with the death penalty for that?
Look, I'm not a judge, yeah?
No, but let me say something.
Look, it has to happen.
Hold on, let me say something. You don't... Hold on. You don't need to be a judge to pass a moral judgment. I don't need to know. No, sorry,
I don't agree with it.
Hold on. You don't agree with it?
Because the Prophet Muhammad, if any Muslim can show me the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has killed someone just because they have slandered him, I will agree with you. But from my knowledge and understanding, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam only prosecute people that slandered him and they done something else as well. Exactly. So let's say they backstabbed them or they done a treason, then they have killed them. But if you show me from any sunnah or hadith that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam killed someone
so you
just for...
disagree with the death penalty for blasphemy then in under Sharia?
It's a British law.
Wait.
No, because the thing is, it's very important.
To be honest, I do need to research it when it comes to blasphemy.
But your own moral standpoint.
I don't have my own process.
You must have your human being.
I honestly don't. My morality always comes from the Quran. The objective morality...
Are you telling me that you are just a Muslim and you're not a human being? You're just a Muslim.
But listen...
Because you must have a human
morality is subjective though. You have to be honest. Morality is subjective.
You've said it.
I don't have subjective morality.
So well done. You did say that you do not agree with the death penalty for somebody slandering.
We don't agree with that,
Yeah, so if
but
someone...
we can't control mobs. If someone does
but what I'm saying, there is still a death penalty within the Pakistani legal system.
The British did.
Yeah, I know, but they
still got the British legal system.
Yeah, but they kept it. So
it's our fault.
Can I just say something? Can I say something?
Why do you agree that you should prosecute?
Can I say something?
The British introduced it.
Hold on.
But that was because of the what do you call it? In India, there was a lot of
communal tension.
Different faiths and people were, what do you call it? Even like slandering each other and destroying each other.
But
you should respect the law, though.
But can I say something? You're acting like the Asians, the Pakistanis and the Indians are children.
Wrong on that. Are you not hearing?
But what I'm trying to say to you, just because the British introduced it, you need to own up to your own responsibility.
I just said that.
What I'm saying, they should have scrapped it. You can't then say they've kept the law because they're Indians and they didn't know any better.
Listen to what I'm saying. The words. They should have not kept the law.
Yeah.
But they have. But even with that law, nobody has been put on death row and executed for that crime.
But can I ask you a question?
So answer that then.
No, can I ask you a question? If, for hypothetically, a Bibi did say something really terrible against your Prophet and Islam and really slandered it, should she be put on a death sentence?
I don't think so.
Not death sentence, but persecute, yes, because you have to respect the law. You have to respect the law of the land. For example, we can't do some stuff here.
You as an individual. Me as a person, I don't influence the law, but my opinion, I would tell her get out of the country because you're not safe here. It's true though.
All right.
Because it's a Muslim country. If you're going to do that, you're not safe here. Simple as. Go and seek asylum somewhere.
And what if she says
and go and spew whatever you want.
But people respect the law of the land though.
She has to be able to live by the law, innit, Raj?
100.
We were speaking about this on a live stream the other day. If you decide to go to a country, we were talking about Dubai, for example. A British couple from here goes to Dubai on a beach. You can't be kissing in public, innit? You're going to get nicked for it. But here you could do the same thing and it's no problem. You have to respect the law.
The culture.
If I go to India, I'm not going to go and slaughter a cow.
100. You respect the law.
You should, because it's a silly law.
It's the law though. It's the law.
No, do it.
Yeah, but listen. No.
Do it. It's a silly law.
You want us to get killed? You want us to get killed?
They will kill you.
What I'm saying, there are certain laws that are just silly and very barbaric. So if somebody, I'm a vegetarian, I don't believe in killing anything.
You have to agree with
what
the law.
I'm saying to you is that
I don't know why
just because of the law put in place, it doesn't mean it's right.
You know what?
You can challenge that law and say, look, I don't agree with it, and you can condemn it. So what I'm saying to you is that as a Muslim, do you condemn the blasphemy law of death penalties?
We don't condemn it.
Wait, thing is, look, you're talking about the blasphemy law, yeah?
Oh, that's okay.
Let me show you this. You're talking about blasphemy law, yeah? Where not even one person has been killed by the government. But let's talk about India, where there's 100,000 rapes every single year. 100,000 rapes every single year.
65 people
no one's been persecuted by rapes in India. No one is.
65 people were accused for blasphemy, yeah?
No one's been persecuted.
None of them, hold on.
The government's doing shit. And you talk about blasphemy that no government has killed.
Let me say 65 people were accused of blasphemy. None of them made it to court.
Compared to 100,000 children
because they were all killed by the mob.
Raped in India, bro.
The only person that was gone to court was a Bibi.
Let me word what my brother was trying to say much better, yeah? My brother was trying to say something is that, boy, that 65 you're talking about is minuscule in comparison to the amount of Muslims that have been persecuted and killed in India that are Indian nationals. They're not from Pakistan.
And I don't agree with that either.
Bro, but you...
Hundreds and thousands of children.
I'm against the Indian government, so you're talking to the wrong person.
So what I'm saying is, that's all you do. He doesn't like...
anti-India.
Let me talk once again.
And anti-Pakistan.
You're more anti-Pakistan than anti-India, though.
I am
against whenever anybody has said to me, are you Indian? I don't even put it on my thingy. I call myself a Punjabi. Because I don't agree with India.
Why are you focusing on the blasphemy laws compared to the laws in India where people are getting raped every single day? 100,000 of children every single year are getting raped, but you're more concerned about the blasphemy laws that not even one government has killed.
So I can't
You're more focused on
I can't focus on that, and I can't focus on that and that. How do you know what I've been focused on?
Because
unless you're watching
evident.
24/7.
It's evident from your live streams.
Are you my fan?
I'm not your fan, but when you bash my country,
you seem like you're my fanboy.
When you bash my country, I'm gonna look at it.
You seem like you're my fanboy.
I ain't your fan, bro.
Are you my fanboy? Are you watching me when I'm going pee-pee?
You made a clip. Boy, you're not even childish now.
No, what it is,
you're being childish. I'm 19 years old, I'm more mature than him.
What I'm saying,
I'm 19, this guy's probably 45.
You seem
to
be very obsessed with me.
Nah, I'm nothing, bro. I'm just a humble guy.
So how do you know what?
But this guy, he's 45 years old.
So what do you know? I want to ask you a question.
Let's not make it one of the
How do you know what I've spoken about unless you've been watching all of my videos?
I don't watch all of your videos, but I've seen from your videos that you said I'm a grooming guy and denied it. That's where it all started.
Well, when somebody says that
I never denied the grooming problem. There is a grooming problem in the UK.
25%, yeah.
But not just Pakistanis, though. Everyone.
It's not that 84%.
Just for
let's debate this.
Let's break that down. Don't make a claim then. You can't go everything.
Don't claim that.
I'm ready to challenge anyone.
I'm not talking about it today.
I want to go on a good note.
I want to go on a good note.
Don't claim that number, please.
I will claim that number.
We'll give you the rebuttal. We'll give you the rebuttal right now.
It's 84%.
Give it to him.
Alright, cool.
Let's not go in negativity though. We started off good.
There we go.
We started off good.
We're going to break down the
We started off good.
You brought it up.
For argument's sake here, hold on. We started off good, yeah. Let's leave it on a good note, yeah. Because I don't want to go on a negative. I promised PC Barnes we're going to go on a good note. So let's start on a good note. We can talk about it next week, yeah. But let's go this week with no negativity though.
Big up Pakistani community.
Anyway. Pick up.
How many times you want to squad? You can't.
Come on, one more time. Come on,
no, you pissed me off now. How you going to say the 84% number?
Do it.
He lies about your religion, lies about your country. Never spot him,
bro.
Come on.
I would never spot someone that lies about my religion, my country.
That's Islam. I show him compassion and humanity there. But what I'm saying is the kind of stuff you spew, we don't do nothing compared to what you do, Raj.
What do I do?
Against you, against your culture, against your people.
God,
we don't say
they treat me like I'm a god or something, man. I'm one man.
All the time, he comes and he's hateful towards our communities. Yeah, we never do it to
bro, I'm one man.
You know what I'm trying to say? So just, I want people to take a look at that, innit?
But what I'm saying to you, Big Art, I'm one man. Why is your
It's not about you being one man. Are we physically hurting you, bro? We come and talk to you, innit? So what I'm saying is the way you're so focused and so negative against my community and where I come from and my beliefs and stuff, it's just like, it's baffling. Look,
look here, this is why today, so tell him to, this is what I said today. I said last week, the other week, let me say something. I said the other week, ban the burqa. What I should have said was, let's discuss the burqa.
You understand?
Yeah, I know. So I'm trying my best to refrain from saying things
so
to
that, please,
I did. Today I did that. So
another thing, look, this is a young brother. Listen, he's 19.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
he's 19.
So don't expect him to have the same mannerism as you or someone else that's older. He's a young brother. He's hot-blooded, and he doesn't like what you've been saying about his country and his people. So you have to respect that. You can't expect him to respect you straight away.
Can I say something? When I said it, the whole point was to chuck a red pill down your throat. Yeah. He wasn't supposed to like it.
Yeah. But the brother's cool, know this, isn't it? Like he knows there's a problem, but he's just saying it's not at that number. But we still want to tackle it.
No, that's the problem.
No one's saying.
Anyway, just out
25%. So not half the amount.
Because what he is,
it's like a quarter of what the percentage is, which is a massive discrepancy.
If you want to talk about this next time, we're going to bring this up next time.
We can talk about it next time.
That actual research and that survey, there's a lot of errors and things.
So what I'm saying,
next week can you have a debate?
Oh, big up Callum.
We can talk about
it.
So he's not on that thing.
So let's keep it on a positive. We had a good day today. It went a little bit awry towards the end, but obviously, you know, that we're not going to be able to have a discussion without there being a little bit of heat. But the main thing is when we leave,
we'll do that on a good note.
When we leave, we can have a heated discussion. We leave and everything's cool.
Yeah, as long as we keep it cool at the end of it, it's alright.
Yeah. Anyway, man.
Yeah, man. Peace out.
I'm gonna be off, man. I'm off. So
you finally come back to the park. What about your friend David Coffin?
Oh no, who's that? Is that Raspect?
What about your friend David Coffin?
Oh God, man.
What about your friend David Coffin?
Where's the time?
Right. What, he's saying David Coffin, one of your friends, though.
I don't even know who David Coffin is.
You don't know who David Coffin is? He's one of them DFLA guys that comes down, man.
Yeah, but I don't know him personally. I've only said hello to him.
Yeah, well, you rode with him, innit?
I've not rode with the man.
You're affiliated.
You're mad I'm affiliated with him.
Stop lying.
Dude, that's like me saying that you're affiliated with, I don't know, you're affiliated with... that you're affiliated with Suleiman and them lot.
No, because David Coppin comes with the DFLA and the veterans and them, man.
Hold on, but that doesn't mean I know him.
No, but you're saying you're bringing down these individuals and he rolls with these individuals.
I said that, and I've said it again to the police, I said to BC Barnes, if I feel unsafe here, if I'm going to bring down certain individuals that support me, I'll bring them down.
But when you said that to the police, they said that they'll...
No, the police said they won't ban me. I've got it officially today.
No, the police said that
they said it. No, at first, I'll say it on camera. I'll say it on camera again.
You said to the police, I don't need any protection.
I'll say it again. I said to PC Barnes that was out of order. I say now, if I'm not feeling safe, and I said it to him today, I will bring down whoever I want. So he agreed he will not ban me. Now today, how many productive...
No, he will not ban you if you don't, just because you don't feel safe.
No, he's agreed that if I don't feel safe and I need support, I'm okay to do it, and he won't ban me. He's told me that straight.
Okay to do what?
So let me say something. How many constructive conversations do we have today?
Yeah,
what I'm saying is, like, I'm adjusting my behaviour as well. I had a conversation with him. So it's going to take time. No. What I'm saying, today we talk about depression, alcoholism.
He done well today.
We talked about Indian history pre-Islam and Sikhism. And also, we only towards the end we had a bit of hostility because obviously we got into grooming. So other than that,
you're not vouching for David Coppin though.
I've spoken to David Coppin like once.
Yeah, but remember,
right, do you like racist individuals? Just say that, yes or no?
No, I don't like racist individuals.
You know he's part of a racist.
If he's a racist, then I'll denounce the man. Let me say something to camera. Let me say something to camera. I'm going to say it straight. I don't follow no one blindly. If you can show me that Tommy Robinson's a racist, I'll denounce him.
All right, good,
simple as that. No man controls me. Yeah? Simple as that. You show me the proof, I will denounce the man.
So if I show you the organisations that he's connected to that are racist, and David Coppin...
Yeah, then I'll denounce him.
If we're talking about grooming gangs, David Coppin's here supporting you, you're talking about Muslim grooming gangs, but David Coppin's close associate is in jail for molesting a 10-year-old girl right now.
Yeah, you need to show the evidence, man.
Yeah,
and then when he comes in, we'll confront him.
I'll do the show
because
tonight.
I'm not...
what about Pat? He can't condemn the killings of innocent people by the IRA, and you had it on your show.
What about the Nazi salute?
Gerard McNamara.
I don't know about that.
What about the salute, bro?
Gerard McNamara. Man, I did that. That's my speciality. That's my speciality.
What about this brother doing the Nazi thing, bro?
A lot of people is some people innocent.
Jugglia means shit stirring.
I want to know about it.
Stirring a pot with a big chumcha.
You gotta tell you about it.
I know, look at the chumcha. Why don't you read the chumcha next time?
I don't know if there was I
big
personally don't know
chumcha.
from the history whether there was innocent deaths. I know they went straight for the
Keep it cool though, don't worry. That's why he's discussion, isn't it? You always like feeling like that.
I condemn that.
Yo, tell him about the salute he was doing, man. We want to get to that. The video of him doing that salute.
He's doing Jugglia now.
Was that bad humour or what?
It was a joke.
Wasn't that bad humour?
Humorous joke that I was trying to show the absurdity of me being an Indian. It may be bad, it doesn't mean I was a knight. It may be bad and it may be silly, it might even be offensive. But what I was trying to show is the absurdity of me going like this, I'm Hitler. Yeah, and how stupid it is to associate me with Nazis. I will say again, anybody you can prove concretely are associated with Nazis, they are nothing to do with me, and I denounce these people.
But most of these far right groups are associated to Nazis in some way.
Look,
this is the thing. Look, the people that you're messing with, it's like most of them are from that cut, like they're like cut from that cloth. Like there's a link. Like one of them rolls with this one, and this one was in this one's organisation. Like these DFLAs and Veterans Against Terrorism, like they on their own page you can see they like pages, and if you go into the pages they like, there's KKK.
Exactly.
Well, you're gonna have to prove that.
No, I proved it.
Well, you're gonna have to prove it with concrete evidence. I've not seen it.
All right.
Gerard McNamara, who's Pat O'Donnell, didn't prove nothing to me.
Yeah, but you didn't let him. You didn't let him.
No. Hold on.
Yeah, you and Manny.
This is the guy saying you've done that to us.
No, I've never done that to you.
You went into our show and chucked up Betty.
Yeah.
Big up Betty.
Definitely when she was cutting man off.
Yeah,
I'm saying Pat was talking and he didn't even get 2 minutes of a conversation.
Can I say something?
You lot really controlled the narrative.
Can I say something? He decided to leave himself.
Yeah, because you kept on muting.
No, we muted him once.
Are you willing to have a talk with him next week?
Yeah, I will have a talk with him because I want to know.
Come on my show. Hold on.
I want to know this year because the thing is that he said to me last week, he said that white nationalism, is the most dangerous thing. But from my understanding, he's an Irish nationalist, and he's part of the Republican movement. His website, Crimes of Britain, is about the Irish movement and the thing. What I'm trying to say to you,
put that into historical context, yeah. Remember, when they're not imperialists. When Britain, was colonizing the whole world, and then when they was calling their own white counterparts Irish, as like the white niggers, when they were saying no blacks, no dogs, no Irish, this is what he's talking about. So the Irish people, I have to say, they did not get involved in the colonialism of the world. So their nationalism wasn't based upon them oppressing other people. When you're talking about
have that privilege.
No, what I'm saying is they didn't use that in order to oppress other people. That was what Britain done.
Can I just clarify? Let me clarify something here. The IRA in its inception, like most organisations, started with good intentions. They wanted to free their homeland from British rule and colonialism. I have no issue with that, with the original IRA, Michael Collins and people like that. But when it started going into terrorism in the 80s and 90s, that's when I've got to condemn them. The thing that I have a problem with Pat O'Donnell isn't the fact that he supports his country and the freedom for his country. Is that when he came to Speaker's Corner, he was disingenuous. He didn't tell me that he believed this. He was trying to pretend that he was fighting for the Muslims, fighting for this. But he did.
You superimposed that on maybe, and you said he was Muslim.
Maybe.
Then you said he was then you said he was Antifa. You superimposed your beliefs upon him. He never said any of
I will say one thing though. He never answered. I asked him. One thing he said to me. One of the problems with the far left or people like himself.
He's not left.
But he may not be left. But his kind of ideology. His kind of ideology, in my opinion, is racist in terms of the bigotry of low expectations. Now, a lot of people on that ideology. Now, let me explain why. Because I said to him, he said to me, "Oh, the people you hang around with are nationalists, white nationalists." And I was like, all right, I didn't know he was an Irish nationalist. Then he said, I said, all right, and there's Indian nationalists. And in India, the Indian nationalists are killing people, like the BJP and RSP.
They're terrorists.
But he said to me, an Indian can't be as dangerous as a white nationalist. They can't. So that is, and I've got that on camera. But to him,
one minute. Let's put this into historical context.
So that is a racist.
One. Pat's from this country just like everyone else. Anyone here that's not from Indian descent, do you know about BJP? Do you know about any Indian nationalists killing anyone? We here, unless we know about that culture, we have no knowledge. I have no. 1 minute. I have no knowledge of any Indian people, Indian nationalists.
Pat does.
1 minute. No, you can't say he does.
No, he does, because I know I've been on his website. I've been on his website. He knows who Bhagat Singh is. He knows what the Indian nationalist movements. He knows who's Autumn Singh is.
Slow down. You can't superimpose what he knows. Anyway, when we're talking about white nationalism, we have to start at chattel slavery, where a group of people decided to say a whole nother race was 3/5 of a human being. So when he says it's not dangerous like that, what he's saying is that Indians, under their nationalism, have never done this. Chinese, under their nationalism, have never done this. Black people, under their nationalism, have never done this. Right up until the 60s, white nationalism, the main front for it was KKK. Which was an oppressive movement that was killing and burning down black people's homes. Black nationalism rose up because of that white nationalism. What did black nationalism look like? Black Panther Party, fighting against oppression. So what he's saying is, when we've seen white nationalism in a historical context, it has been an oppressor. But when we've seen other nationalisms, well, I can talk about black nationalism, I can't talk about Indian nationalism, but it's probably been up and down. But black nationalism, I can say it's always been a response to oppression.
All right, can I say something? As of today, Indian nationalism is more dangerous than white nationalism. Because in India, you have the RSS and the BJP, which is the far-right Indian National Party, which is oppressing minorities physically.
You know
so you know that as Muslims. Okay, Muslims are one of the most. But in the UK,
are still not out of the country.
But what I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to say is that the reason why I have a problem with this individual is not because of his views. He has a right to be upset with the British in terms of the way Ireland was treated. My problem was with him, he was disingenuous when he was speaking to me. He didn't tell me his crimes of Britain, that he has a website dedicated to all the crimes of the UK. Okay. He does not have any, if you look at his particular, this is how far he is in terms of his support of IRA, or not IRA, the Sinn Féin. He believes Jerry Adams and Martin McGuinness are traitors. For signing the Stormont Good Friday Agreement.
For signing the peace
treaty, he doesn't want peace in Ireland. So he
I don't think he wants peace. I think he wants the whole of Ireland to be Irish.
But what I'm trying to say is that I don't
full sovereignty.
I don't mind that. I don't mind. What I'm trying to say, I don't mind that. I don't mind that.
Yeah.
But he's accusing people. I know. Yeah, like Richard Inman, big up Richard Inman and Ray and them lot.
Mind who you're bigging up because
no, come on,
that came out this morning. I'm saying the information that came out this morning.
Richard Inman, big up Richard Inman. As of today,
I'm letting you know.
As of now,
I'm letting you know that the information that came out this morning.
As of now, Richard Inman, big up Richard Inman.
That name is bona fide involved in some real racist organisation.
Let me say something. People,
you know who they're involved with. You go into Richard Inman's Facebook and you can go down and you can see, you can click onto the something flutes on his Facebook. And then when you go into this flutes page, then you see white KKK members, and you see them giving reverence to the British loyalists.
This is facts.
This is facts. I've seen this morning.
Hold on. I need to show the hypocrisy. So somebody, I don't want to go. I know Richard Inman, and I don't want to talk about him too much at this precise moment. But the thing is, he needs to speak for himself. Hopefully, he can come on a live chat. This individual, may be pro-UK, might even be pro-loyalist. But so is Pat O'Donnell.
No,
he's pro-Republican, and he is you can oppress, but when you have to differentiate.
Even though you can say the oppressed can do wrong actions, I'll agree with that. But you cannot equate the two. Yeah, when you have an oppressor nation and the oppressed nation, you cannot equate the two. When someone's a supporter of the oppressors, that means they're still supporting the problem. Yeah. When someone's a supporter of the oppressed, sometimes when you're oppressed, you don't know any other way to deal with it. You don't feel like the people trying the peaceful way are getting anywhere, so you're able to get more clout. Now, I don't agree with the terrorism, but what I'm saying is that differentiation has to be made.
All right, so this is the line I'm going to draw with Pat O'Donnell. I want him to condemn the terrorism. If he condemns that, good. He's got a legitimate right to condemn him, because if he's condemning that, then he's being fair. Right? That's the line. That's the line. Because I've spoken to Richard Inman. He disagrees with all of that as well. And I can't say too much because I don't want to disclose. It's up to him to disclose. But with these allegations, it will have serious real-life consequences. Attributing him to these neo-Nazi loyalist groups. It ain't some kind of like silly kind of little games anymore. This is why I was annoyed with the guy. Now, if he wants to speak to us, we'll have a live chat. Maybe we'll do it like a joint one between our show and your show, and we can get him on there. But it has to be mediated properly, because whenever you go on, it's a shouting match. And I also am part of the problem as well. I tend to get aggressive, and I'm not going to do that anymore.
You was riled up that day, then you chucked him off.
The reason why I was riled up, because he's associating with people that I hate myself.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but you have to
I don't like combat. I don't like combat 18
You're going to have to have a real debate. You're going to have to have a real conversation.
But you have to understand, combat 18, and EDL and DFLA and FLA and the Veterans Against Terrorism, they're like cousins. These are all cousin organisations. They're all related. Don't think you're moving with the DFLA and there ain't no combat 18. Because when the EDL went, there was a void that had to be filled, and that was filled by the DFLA.
All right, first of all, I need to clarify something. I'm not affiliated in any way with the DFLA or the FLA.
But you keep saying hold them down.
Hold on. Yeah. When I said that I'm going to get support, whenever I said the word, I said support.
Someone's going to punch him up. Why do you punch him up?
I said the word support. I said the word support. Yeah. The support isn't an organisation. It's people I know as individuals. So when I phone up one individual,
just know that they're going to bring that organisation.
What I'm saying, I'm not. They do what they're going to do. But when I phone up an individual and I don't know, like they organise who they're affiliated with, they are affiliated them with their personal ties.
Say there's no savage Muslims out there that's going to punch him in the face, though.
I love my Muslim brothers.
What? They are going to punch him in the face? No, can't say you're meant to be scared for your life right now.
I'm not scared for my life. What I was trying to say is this: that if it gets to a point that people try to get me out of the park like last time, I have a right to come back and say, look, I got support.
This is where it things me, When you go home for like every day of the week, you're throwing out shots, and then you expect to come here Sunday and no one talks to you. And you got like 300 people watching your show. So at least 30 people are come and at least question you about it.
This is the thing,
I'm glad to transition you, though. I'm saying honestly, I'm glad to
when we had the meeting, it's been made very clear that any outside beefs coming into Speaker's Corner are going to be dealt with very hardly. So I've been trying to squash beefs with people outside because I don't want it to infiltrate in here, because I don't want to be banned. And that's just not me, it's you, it's everybody. If they start looking at a conversation on your live stream, because PC Bond's watching everything, trust me. He's monitoring my freaking phone, I think, as well, yeah? Because he said something to me today. PC Barnes, man, you better stop that, man.
Subscribe.
Big up the police, big up the police.
Super chat, subscribe.
Big up the police, cops to the ops. They're not really, man. Big up the police. But the thing is, yeah.
COE as well, blood.
But the thing is, yeah, like with this situation.
I swear your double standards. You see Raj, yeah?
It's a joke.
When he got to the park, yeah, he was like, oh yeah, I feel protected around gang, yeah. The minute we ran Tanner, he's like, I don't feel safe in the park anymore.
No.
Yeah? Raj is like, bigging up the police, bigging up the police. The minute the police tell him off, I don't like police, come to the ops.
Hold on. I will say, on that day, yeah, he was cops saw the ops on that day for around 10 minutes. Trust me, I was furious with the police for like 10 minutes.
Right,
but
no,
I'm always snitching. Snitch.
Right, this is not a playground.
Tells off Randall.
Hold on.
So the thing is,
we've come to an agreement with PC Barnes at our meeting with him today as well. And I've told him straight that if I feel like people are going to force me out, I'm not talking about any odor. I don't mind about grief. If you want to swear at me, you want to do this, it don't bother me.
9 times out of 10, I'm talking about to force you out. People like big guards and all that.
Yeah, now, but that day when I was happening, he was against me as well. But in the morning, he was trying to get me out.
If you're overly antagonising the situation,
you were chatting bare shit that time.
I know, but
even my friends, right? If I'm walking down the road and my friend just cussing everyone on the road and he gets into a fight, it's harder for me to back him.
All right, let me give you an example.
Because he's just going out of his way. If my friend's being real and honest, and then he gets, then it's straight up.
All right, so let me explain.
If you keep it real with us, keep it real with you.
This is one of my main problems with Sarah. I felt like he was deliberately antagonising, going
you
out.
You never heard me say something about politics.
I get stabbed now.
So for me, hold on. The thing is,
like your brethren Simon done. I can't fuck.
Alright, so the thing is, like with Sophia, she's not going to say that no more because we've come to an agreement that we don't want to say stuff like because we want to keep the past peaceful, yeah. So we've got to restrict certain things we will. One of the things is that even like last double week, I said ban the burqa. I know that's too controversial. So what I should have really said was, let's discuss the burqa. So I'm trying to adjust my behaviour as well, and everybody else needs to do it as well. It's not just me, because everyone seems to think it's all Raj's fault.
But you do know that most of the behaviour of the people that are against you is because of what you're doing. So now, if you're changing that up, that will stop automatically.
No, I don't want it to change though. I like the heat.
No, but you said yeah, but then again, you said you like the heat.
Give me it.
And then when it comes, you're complaining about it.
Give me it.
But when it comes, you're starting to complain about it.
Now, what I'm saying is that my thing I'm complaining about is that look, if you're going to try and push me out the park, I have a right to come back the next week with whoever I want to.
Okay.
And that's going to happen. Unless I'm only.
If you do that with racist organisations, you know that you're going to be labelled as one of them.
What I'm trying to say to you,
and their numbers can't
match. What I'm trying to say to you, it has to be that extreme.
But what if I start bringing my friends, he brings his friends?
Imagine you come off the back, yeah, then you've got to be that come off the back.
Imagine how many men are going to bring from my ends,
people off the back and then people start calling people off the back.
But do you not understand how extreme it is? I'm saying, if you push me out the park like last time,
ain't gonna push you out.
I'm just giving you an example because it happened once.
No, what happened once is you got heckled.
Yeah, and the police over it.
And when did he get heckled out of the park? When? After Tan got heckled out the park, and every day on his live stream, no one's forcing me out the park. No one's forcing me out the park. No one's forcing me out the park.
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I said I ain't playing that bullshit, Jizzy. You're mad.
I'm telling you.
That's what I was saying.
You see that statement?
But there is no Jizzy to be playing here. What are you talking about?
It wasn't that time.
You don't care what that
But now he's balancing out.
1,000 years.
You know why? Because back in the day,
if we got here different opinions, there's no point coming here. At the same time, there's no point of us going out of our way to antagonise people. There must be a balance that we can find in the fact that we've got our own opinions.
That's what I'm trying to do with him. I'm trying to keep it on a level.
And the thing is, even like I don't like restricting free speech, but there is a situation with a park now. If we don't start behaving, what will happen? They'll either over police it and ruin it, or they'll just shut it down at some point.
No one's stopping no one from saying whatever they want here, as long as you be respectful about it. Don't come and antagonise people. Say it in a good way.
That's for Muslims talking to That's for Sikhs talking to Muslims.
All of us.
That's for Rastas talking to Hebrews.
Bring up any subject you want. Be polite about it. Voice your opinion in a good way, and no one's going to get angry.
Because we're all trying to put forward like we've got some ideology that's better than the next man's. So if that doesn't show in our characters in the way we discuss with each other, then everything else we say is kind of dead and null and void. You know what I'm saying? Because we're complaining about people over there and their mentality. But if whatever we do hold dear to doesn't doesn't show better in the way we.
So let me ask you a question. Why did you not come to the meeting then on Thursday?
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Eyes and ears everywhere, man. I don't even need to.
Do that thing. What was he doing? What was he doing there?
Snip, 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 snip.
He came out with all these files, all these screenshots and that. The
Dude, no.
Real police work. We don't even want to see that.
Let me clarify something, yeah?
He printed off like 20 pages.
Let me clarify something. Hold on. Let me clarify something, yeah?
Hey, COE. Blood, what's this I heard about King? Yo, what's this I've been hearing about King and Queen of the park? Are you having that?
Sophia
Are you having that, fam?
Sophia Luce is the Queen of the park. Leon's the king.
Huh?
Are you having that, blood? No
Leon's
way.
the king. I appointed them.
Homecoming king and shit.
Yeah, I appointed them.
No authority in the park.
I got authority. I did it.
Now Leo's happy that he filmed him. Leo's like, so why not give this guy a platform for?
I gave him an opportunity yesterday to denounce that thing. He said, nah, you can't do that.
Blood, man, automatically denounce.
So do you want to be the king?
Are you mad?
You want to be the king?
That kingship. Yo, I ain't paying that kingship. Are you mad?
Simon's the king and the king.
Yeah.
Big up Sophia though. Big up Sophia. So she's not here today.
I swear you was with her the other day, like on the line.
We're married.
Same room. Yeah.
We're married. That's what married couples do.
Everyone have a look at Betty's show she done today about
married,
Simon.
man.
She took the piss today. She done it. Finally she come out of the show and she said
Who,
that she
Betty?
thinks about transgenders. Yeah,
Betty,
man. Yeah, man.
I'll have to listen to her.
Have a listen, bro. You're gonna love it. She killed you.
I'm Betty. What's that song?
Dead and buried.
She's got the big heart and talk the truth.
Dead and buried.
Can I say? I don't know, but I was going to say something.
She's Betty, boy.
No, like that. She said breakfast show. She said breakfast show. I'm like, can't the truth.
See what it is, yeah? What it is,
Sunday. Hallelujah.
Betty got angry because people in the comments start saying stuff like, Simon is better looking than you, Betty, yeah? And Betty like just went mad, like, you really comparing a she said, are you really comparing a biological female, a born female that can bear kids to this? And then she went mad. Well, you want to check it out, bro?
We'll watch it. We'll do a live reaction to it.
But the other day, Betty was snoring with you lot as well.
Yeah, I know. I did say that we got the most the best crew at Speaker's Corner.
Yeah, the reject crew.
The reject crew, the best crew. The weirdo crew, running things around there.
Come on, the misfits.
We're so weird that we're still running things. That's the main thing. We're the weirdo crew.
Been running things. Where's your G circle?
We don't even need.
Where's your misfit
We don't
circle?
need that. We're just weirdos. Our little things over there.
FLA circle.
That's how they would do.
Oh, Tommy.
I don't like that. I don't like that. I will say one thing though, yeah. I've said to these guys, like all this silliness, like when they're going on these marches, F Muhammad this, and like, this is stupidness. Like I do understand why people have a negative impression.
I told you about that, didn't I?
That's the seeking. You just fighting. You're seeking.
Hold on. I've told him
a towelhead, yeah.
I've told him to their face, yeah.
Remember that idiot call him a towelhead?
Yeah, and I told him.
Bring that brother here. I'm gonna
no,
grill him.
He's a little Jewish guy.
Man, call him a towelhead. How you gonna let man call you a towelhead, bro?
What do you want me to do to him?
Do that again.
Hot him up.
Or beat him up in front of the cameras?
Verbally hot him up the way you
I said to him afterwards.
Everyone else up.
What you do to everyone else?
The way you say bad the bird,
stop cussing him.
But let me just say, hold on. I'm an Islamophobe, so that's why I do it.
Yeah, so be a
I'm not going to be
real Sikh.
Islamophobia versus
Rajaphobia.
Hold on. Rajaphobia pays, man. Rajaphobia pays. That stuff goes mad. Why did you say the other day here that there's a new term that anyone that defends me, I'll big up to a man-like. What's it, man-like? There's a guy on your chat, I think his name's man-like.
I don't know who that guy is.
Man-like or something, yeah? You said he's a Raj apologist.
A Raj apologist.
Just because he was defending me.
No, he wasn't holding his breath. He was just without holding his breath. But then the new information that we produced today about the...
Is it online? Is it online?
Yeah, but I'm going to do a show on it. He wasn't defending you necessarily.
He was being unbiased.
He was defending the connect to the
DNA. Yeah. So
remember who man like is? Man like is one of the Christian guys. What's the Christian guys? He's one of these brothers.
Oh, is he here that goes to the park?
Yeah. So one of them Christian, Godwin, I think, is Godwin's brother. So
obviously,
man like the Christians have got their beef with the Muslims. You're going at the Muslims. Man like is on your side.
Fellow Islamophobe.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend. That sort of debate kind of.
Yeah, like go live.
So but I said to him, this is
big up, go live. Big up, go live.
Has he been phoning him?
Yeah,
he's been phoning him
all night.
Fam, I'm telling you, yeah. I'm telling you, Remember, the Islamophobes, they love to promote ISIS as the real Islam.
They'll say
they love that.
But can I say something? I'm gonna make a disclaimer.
They hate the chocolate Muslims.
I'm gonna make a disclaimer for Go Live, yeah. You lot. 1 second, yeah. Hear the disclaimer for Go Live. Go Live's a bad man. Let me drop that. Godlive's a bad man. Let me tell you why he's a bad man, yeah? He makes all of you lot shook here that this is what he believes in.
Yeah,
but then he chucks that disclaimer in there, bro. He always does. You don't need to listen carefully, because what he always says is, I don't condone it in this country right now, but know that the black flags will rise. But what he means by that is, you know what he means
Not
by
like
that.
your chocolate Muslims.
But for me, that's just political talking.
Yeah.
That's just, you know, when you're dancing around.
But that's what I'm trying to say. I don't think he believes that.
You see, like Tommy Robinson, and I feel like a lot of them more extreme, like Andrew Chowdhury kind of supporters, yeah? I feel like they both know that the legalities of this country or the social implications for saying certain things can be detrimental. So what they do is they just tiptoe around here. They just do this, and we can all see them tiptoeing. And they do this. They put their foot a little bit over sometimes.
But I'll be honest, what he's normally
he's better than the chocolate Muslims.
What he normally refers to is end of times. Like when end of time is coming, before that there's gonna be wars and stuff that are prophesied, right?
That's why I don't get you. That's why I don't get you. You complain that 1 minute, right? You complain that Muslims are violent, Muslims are aggressive, and these things. And then
I love the chocolate Muslims.
And then when you see, no, you don't though.
I do.
And all the Islamophobes.
I want all of them to become chocolate Muslims.
Islamophobes confuse me.
Who are they? All the panel on your panel. Most of them are all chocolate Muslims.
No.
Nearly all of them.
There's rumors.
They won't tell us the truth.
No, this is what it is about Islamophobes.
I think they're different.
Are you a kafar or not?
This is what about Islamophobes.
Are you a kafar?
They're different definitions. They're different definitions. If you're talking about,
I broke that down to you the other day.
I'm a kafar. I'm proud of it.
No, 1 minute.
We run things. The kafars run things. So why would I want to
in a derogatory way? Man won't like it.
Oh yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Four different types. The cover. A farmer was called a kafir. So that's one, and that predates the one after the Prophet, obviously. Then you got someone who knows the truth but covers the truth. Then you got someone who hasn't taken the shahada.
But he's not Muslim, basically.
In that sense, yes.
Why do you take it so? Is it because of the negative connotation with South Africa?
Because some people say you fucking dirty kafir.
You don't like the way it's said.
Just say you're a kafir. That's we're gonna fucking dare.
No, but even
he's not Muslim. Simple, isn't it? He's not Muslim.
But the chocolate Muslims say everything's cool.
No, they don't say he's a Muslim. They don't say he's a Muslim.
But
he's a Rastafarian, bro.
What they're not going to do, they're not going to go out of their way to be disrespectful.
Oh, you know what he's been saying about you, though? He's been saying you're a scholar of every religion. He goes, you're a scholar of every religion except for Rastafarianism.
I'm a scholar for any religion.
He goes, except for Rastafarianism.
He's a scholar of religion.
Are you going to have that?
Rastafari, remember,
He goes, you don't know about that.
Rastafari is the
No. This guy's doing what's called. He's doing Jukulia today. Jukulia.
I'm making a show. He's doing Jukulia today. This is going to be fire.
He's doing Jukulia today with a big cut of sheep. Jukulia means your shit stirring, cut of sheep's a stick.
Show PC Barnes that this is all peaceful.
Yeah, big up to PC Barnes.
Show him that.
Big up the Popo. And cops are the ops, so I'm kind of like a bit schizophrenic today. Now, what it is, they're annoying me as well, yeah. They're being a bit silly, so I've got to say big up the police and say cops are the ops. It's the first time that I thought the cops are the ops. I was like,
in here they are.
Imagine that.
They know what it is, yeah.
He ain't never been beaten by police. He ain't never been set up by police. Yeah, I ain't never seen all the injustice, man.
No.
All the police done is say one thing to me.
No, it's not just that.
No, it's not just that. My whole life.
No, it's not just that. It's not just that. He said something, yeah, that started to make me think you're looking at my phone calls. I was like, that's why I thought. He said something about. He said like it sounds like he's listening to my phone calls and my text messages. So that's why I was like, the cops are the ops. I was like, damn, man. But like when I was sitting by myself, I was like, yeah, maybe they're watching. Yeah, they do. I think they're overreaching their powers a bit when they start to go into my freaking messages. Let's leave everything else out of it. I'm going to go now anyway, but are you going to provide that evidence?
Yeah, 100%.
Are you going to chat to him?
Denlil. Bring the Denlil.
Yeah, we'll chat to Pat.
You're going to set up the show with him and Pat, yeah?
Yeah, I don't, look, obviously I went gunning for Pat because obviously I thought he was being a hypocrite, not because of his beliefs.
Yeah, we know that. We know that. You broke it down already.
What I'm saying, he's very patronising in the way he speaks to people, yeah?
But just break it down with him, innit, himself.
I'll say
Monday we'll do
I'll say to Pat, yeah, if you condemn IRA terrorism, and the killings, not the pre-IRA when they're fighting for independence. That's different.
But like now,
yeah, I'm talking about now, like with the terrorism. Then we're cool. Yeah. But if he's not going to condemn that and condemn other people with the loyalist side, with the loyalist side, then you're a hypocrite.
In present day, if there's any terrorist actions now, he should condemn that.
Yeah.
But he's saying before he can understand.
No. Before it's a freedom fight. It's like all organisations like the Crips and stuff, and all of them start with the original good premise, but then they go into like bad.
Raj, this way you're behaving is good, man. Keep doing this. I know it's hard for you, man.
I know.
You might as well get the bottle again.
Oh my God, what's two with everything? You know, if me and
how many chukliya did I do today for you?
Oh, the chukliya. Just so that everyone knows in the future, this guy's a chukliya master.
But listen,
I'm gonna bring you a big kurshi.
Since
I'm gonna have a kurshi in my bag next time.
I changed the whole dynamic for him, and he's feeling much better now. So don't even try it, bro.
I'm mad that you changed the dynamic.
Look at that, bro. You're feeling blessed now. You're chilling.
I'm mad.
You're feeling blessed though, innit? Right now, you're feeling comfortable. You don't need
I got a bollocking from the police.
You don't need the DFLA right now, do you?
I got a bollocking from the police. I'm gonna be nice.
You don't need no organisations to back you right now, innit? You feel comfortable.
I'm just saying I can go to. I'm just saying in
no, but
case.
right now, do you?
No, right now I don't need no one.
It's not about the violence though. It's about him getting pushed out of the park.
I'm just saying that safe to say bullshit happens.
You talk to 300
chat their shit.
40 people are gonna come down.
You tell everyone fuck you, they're all gonna come.
Why are they watching me then?
Come on, what are they gonna do?
Why are they watching me?
But why are you telling them fuck you then?
They're turds, that's why.
Well, then they think you're a turd and they're coming to tell you about that. And
he's the king of the park.
That's what happens, isn't it?
He's the king.
You can't say why they're doing that. He causes that. Now look now,
Sophia's the queen.
But if he goes on that vibe again, man's will gather and stuff.
Sophia's the queen.
The police are removing him. He's not in danger.
Even last time, let me say something. You know when I was removed, the police overreacted.
And they do
what they did, no, can I say something? The police overreacted. You know when I got removed from the... Can I say something? When I was over there, yeah, and they removed me, they made the situation worse because I didn't need to be removed. It wasn't even that bad.
What about when they removed me and stood you next to me outside?
Dude, I ran you round like Benny Hill. Then you was out of the freaking...
Did anyone watch that video? Run me round, or was you running in front of me?
I was running around.
You was running in front of me.
And then I went back and I stood there for another 6 hours.
Oh, you know you were shook in there with the frighteners.
Oh no, look at the size of you, for God's sake.
He
was in my face like, what are you going to say? And then I looked at his big hands. Oh, sorry.
The mic, sorry.
So I saw his big hands and I was like, all right, I'm not going to be dealing with this, man.
What are you saying, Raj? You've been fantasizing over my hands, innit?
Yeah, I was, man. I was always like...
He said he's going to buy some whole cans for man. Yeah.
No, Simon, big up Simon. Oh my God, big up Sophia, big up Sophia. I said Simon, oh my God. I'm sorry.
Hey, start the game.
The same way that you say she sometimes, he said she the other day. He called Sophia a she. He called Sophia a she.
Hey, you said it.
You said she. You said it.
Oh, Simon.
Do you know him, yeah?
He sounds like a
she. Come here.
I'm an Indian.
I'm an Indian. Come here.
Crabs, come here, crabs.
Come here. He was holding a samosa for 12 hours.
Yeah, I heard about that. The man held a samosa the whole day.
12
and
hours.
He's about to eat it, and he goes, why is it so cold? It's not supposed to be cold. They kill him, man.
He didn't understand. You do understand when you buy something and you don't eat it straight away, it gets cold. All right.
Hey, Raj.
It went colder, yeah.
Yeah, what I'm saying though, yeah. Another subject I want to talk about in North Indian subcontinent history, yeah, is transgenderism and what your people think about it as well.
Oh no. In terms of the
the way you come here and say it's all good. I know if I went to your culture and your people will be like, Aki, yeah. That's what your people can say, Aki, yeah. And that means what's this?
Let me clarify something, yeah.
They'll be like, what's this?
There is Punjabi culture which is very misogynistic. Like he's Punjabi, I'm Punjabi.
Not just Punjabi, go to the rest of the India.
No, especially Punjab and that North India, yeah, all of that area, yeah, the North Indians. So in terms of the culture,
is different than his culture. Even though you're Punjabi,
yeah. No, we're talking about transgender. I said they all think he's wrong.
All right, cool.
You're mad. It's alcoholic culture. You're crazy.
No, in this country.
You're crazy.
Wait, let me clarify. At least Punjabi.
You're grooming culture then.
Hey, don't do that.
There we go.
Don't call me alcoholic culture. You're mad.
Right, don't do that.
How can you call me a grooming?
Yeah, but you're saying that my culture is alcoholic.
Let him talk about it, man, properly. He's saying it in a good way, and you just come and give that shit. Come on, what's wrong with you?
Don't say grooming though. Why do you keep saying that? I don't like you, fam. How dare you call me grooming?
Choose your words, man.
I'm not grooming gang.
If you say alcoholic culture, then
No, but I'm saying.
Well, how are you comparing alcohol to grooming gang, fam?
He said Punjabi.
That's a whole different thing.
With alcohol, yes or no?
Yeah, we do have a problem, but it's not.
That's what I said. That's what.
But where they properly?
Alcoholic culture is a bit extreme.
Yeah. Just let him talk for it. Don't give that straight reaction.
Yeah, I know. I need to calm down a bit.
Come on.
I've been good all day today, man.
Yeah,
give
that's what it is.
Give me some props,
Go home
man.
on your live stream and do that
I only got mad.
Yeah, right now contain yourself and go and do your shit at home, you get me? So go and carry on. So what he's saying, Raj, is that in the Punjabi culture, there is a problem with drinking.
Yeah, there is 100%.
So speak about it,
100%.
and you speak about it.
No, not Punjabi Sikh culture, because Muslims don't have that problem. So it's
I
Punjabi
think the
Sikh
ones in this
culture.
country do.
Yeah.
The ones in this country
Do
do.
they?
Yeah, a lot of young Pakistani
They do more strip and stuff.
No, but they have their drink culture too. They do. A lot of them do. It's a big problem. It's a big problem as well.
The Muslims.
Yeah, but in terms of the transgender, we could talk about it in the future about.
But it happens in London, Bradford, everywhere.
In terms of the Punjabi Sikh Punjabi culture, is frowned upon. You can't go home with a girl as a transgender. You'll be kicked out the house. But in terms
what
of
do they look at it as? Abomination, right?
Kusre, I think.
No, but isn't it? No. Alright, stop calling these people kusre, no?
No, I'm saying that's what they would call.
Kusre are naturally born with two things, you get me?
Yeah.
So you can't compare kusra to transgender.
I'm just saying that's what they were. That's
not what we call them. We call them something else like.
What?
Gandaki.
Oh no, you don't say.
It's something like that, innit, bro?
They're already termed though, innit?
They would say something like that. They were not going to say kusra. They know what kusra is.
Yeah. Sorry, Sophia.
Rod
I
slipped
really
up.
apologize,
He called
man.
you Simon for what you really are.
They've been saying it so much, it freaking got into my head. But the thing is that I know, look, I agree. In terms of the Punjabi culture, it's frowned upon totally, but the religious stance is slightly different, and I need to clarify.
Can you get into heaven as one of them?
I'll have to find out. I'll have to ask God tonight when I go home. I don't know.
Religion, though, isn't it?
I think even in Islam, if he repented, probably could. But you know what I mean? But I don't know.
Yeah, but we want to eat the zakums.
What's her religion? What's Sophia's religion?
What's his religion?
What's Sophia's religion?
Sophia's religion is, I think she's an atheist, I think, from my understanding.
No wonder, man.
Yeah.
No belief in God. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
no purpose in life.
I'm looking forward to the zakums.
No afterlife, nothing.
Hey, I'm looking forward
Just
to the
die
zakums.
and be some bones and like food for the earth and soil.
Oh, I'm going to go now. It's getting late anyway. Big odds, I need to go now.
Go on, blood. I'll let you go.
All right, look at this. He's doing so much juggling today, man.
Yo, big up COE, blood. Big up DJ Riza.
Big up. The Punjabis, we did it. We did the first conversation about Punjab. So well done.
Next week, what are we talking about?
We'll talk about
the two theories, right? The theory about
Indian invasion theory, Aryan invasion theory, and thingy. What is it?
How was the depression talk you had today? Was it good?
It was actually good, actually. I was talking about not drinking.
Are you still affected by that?
Nah, not now, man.
You feel much better now? More confident and shit?
I wouldn't be here if I was thinking like that, man. You're mad.
You know, like people like me, yeah, I ain't gonna, not in a bad way, but it's very hard for me to even like appreciate and understand those things. Because, like, you know what, I've never felt those things.
I know, that's the thing.
I think it's non-existent, but when I meet people that go through it, then I'm like, wow, it really is. You know what I mean? Someone can be affected by it. So it's a, it's a big thing, man.
It can. I mean,
but like when you don't go through it yourself, you think, oh, it's non-existent. That don't happen.
Yeah, but some
and
people
when you
have
meet someone
a very.
And you see like, wow, how his personality changes and everything.
Yeah, but some people have a very optimistic outlook on life.
Yeah.
Like my brother, I don't want to go into detail, but we've gone through a lot of problems that affected me. But with him, he's always happy, laughing. Like it could be a time like, you know, like something's going on, and I'm depressed, and he's downstairs laughing at a cartoon. Do you understand? So not everybody deals with their kind of situations differently.
You heard about Tyson Fury went through depression and all that? The boxer.
Oh yeah. I think he's done a little talking.
He talked about it, yeah, man. He said I was suicidal, that kind of stuff. And then now he fought his demons, and look, he's going to fight for the heavyweight championship of the world, bro.
Yeah, but this is the thing, we was talking about it earlier, that if you don't talk about it and you're too embarrassed, like I say, you know, the people that I used to hang around with, like you'd have a drink, you know, you know, you start talking about something about, you know, serious, they don't want to hear. You understand? Like
they want to be happy and high.
They don't even know they're depressed. You see about the action.
Yeah, they're just going for the drink,
they'll drink to hide the depression and all that kind of stuff as well, so.
I've got to go now, man.
Chal, do your thing, man.
Yeah, cool.
To give you some room,
We
had you covered in there, Raj, you get me?
We're going to have to talk about the Sanskrit, though. You're going to have to start learning about
but not next week, though.
No, not next week. We do the Indian, Asian imperial. I'm going to go Matt D's. I'm going Matt D's. You want to come with me? I'll see you later on, because we'll do one more.
Content over everything. From your humanity.
Man, say it straight. Man, don't listen to BBC. Man, don't listen to ITV.
For creating you, for giving you, God has got to be your everything, because He's going to give you eternal life. Yeah, big up. So if you're going to get eternal life from God, if you obey Him in this world, why are you going to waste it? You got a couple of years to live. This is your chance to start worshipping. Because if me and you died, yeah, and there was a heaven and hell, at least I will go. I worship during my life. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Just